we are Small and Mighty, and today we're going on an adventure. How are we all doing? Is everyone excited to play?
Yeah, cracking.
Very, very excited.
Good. You'll see we have Ryan back. So hello, Ryan. Welcome back.
Hello.
We were discussing last time how you had to go on the contractually obliged visit to America, which is very odd because you wrote that into the contract that someone had to go to America every couple of months, and like, oh, do it again, guys. So,
yeah, exactly.
I hope it wasn't too hard
the cost
on
of that, everyone.
Yeah.
You know what, Ryan? We're proud of you. Someone's got to do it. It's a tough life, but well done for taking one for the team. It's
It's okay. Can I say I'm not a hero, but
I am close.
I'm not a hero, but I do have a cape. I'm just like, but good. No, very good to have you back since we're starting to get into the meat of this chapter. But good. So, okay, the plan, as always, is we're gonna play for about 2 to 3 hours. A short break about an hour in, and always this is D&D. This is improv. Who knows what will happen? Don't hold us too specifically to our timings. But let's get into it. So, Tali, you have the inspiration token because you had it from the previous session, but you held onto it last session as not a lot of rolling happened last session, and much more role play happened last session.
Very good.
So we will jump into our recap questions. So we picked up with you guys immediately in the Messer's base at the very end of your conflict with Splint and the Crow, who you had escaped. In the aftermath of your raid on the Messer base, Chad, you decided that this was a moment for Small and Mighty, and there was 2 paths that laid before you. You could either continue to sort of mill about and do odd jobs, or there was another path before you. Do you remember what you said that was?
just go to war with the Messers and be public about it.
Yes, you decided that you could just go to war with the Messers. Which I love the balls of that. Like, us, the 5 of us, we're just going to war with this secret organization. Why not?
Yeah.
But no, it was, a very powerful moment. And you sort of discussed around that ways you could do it, where you could do it out in the open, you could sort of do it more subtly. You didn't come to the conclusion, but you did start the conversation off then and there. But very much conceded the fact that there was a few other things going on that need to be solved first, but this was almost the next thing to do once you solve things like Pebble's arm and Christina going to Morgrave Manor.
Yep.
While you were discussing that, Tali, you revealed to the rest of the group that something had happened to Burchard since being captured by the Messers.
Yes.
Do you remember what that was?
Yeah, he has the grey mark on his ear.
Yes, he has a small patch of grey mark above one of his ears. You revealed it to the party. You don't think you told Burchard himself. You kind of kept that out of him for the moment because he is in quite the state after obviously being tortured and etc. Yes, Burchard has this, and obviously that has got Tali somewhat stressed about a timeline that Burchard is now dealing with. You made your way back to Five Fellows after freeing some of your prisoners, making them swear to live a better life and never tell anything, and in a roundabout way, totaling up all the loot you got from the train carriages you disrailed. We talked about, in a vague sense, we're going to use that money to support some of the local poor people and stuff, but mostly to improve the pub. And at some point, I will give you a list of options that you can choose from that. But yes, back at the Five Fellows, you guys got into a heated discussion about Small and Mighty's conduct over the past day. This is not so much of a question, but just for my sake and the stream's sake, quickly summarize that discussion for me.
Oh, things happen.
Them all.
What?
You need to murder everybody. Could do it a different way.
Yeah.
Could talk to people. Could try to, non-lethally take them down.
People tend to be people.
Yeah.
Go
ahead, Verity.
I was going to say, accidents happen, and so some deaths are inevitable. But Chad likes gratuitous violence. Because when we tortured that Messer agent, he then kind of revealed last time that he murdered them again. Christina was like, "Oh, I thought I'd killed them, but then you went and killed them." So that's got very emotionally involved as well.
Yeah, I completely forgot about that. Like Christina thinking that she'd killed. Yeah, nice. Thank you. Mhm.
It's to Chad. There's very little difference between killing the human people that we've just been killing in today, versus like the Nervims and the other monsters and things that we've been fighting and killing. And he hadn't quite realised that everyone else wasn't
On the same page.
experienced in the in murder as he.
Yeah, I
as he is.
think a few points that were raised from Chad's point of view was these guys are the enemy. They will do the same thing to us. Was raised. There were some debates about defending yourselves and like killing blows. Chad, I think, struggling to see the difference between killing an enemy who is an enemy and killing someone in defense. Tali raised the point of these people could have families and etc. And you just killed them without them even knowing, etc. etc. It kind of was a bit of a circular conversation there. That was eventually broken by a call to have dinner, I think. And then Small and Mighty had the most awkward dinner ever, very much like a family who had an argument at Christmas, sitting in silence, despite your new friend Rumyard putting on this incredible display of food and trying to make small conversation. You instead ate in... Gone?
I think we did have it ended by basically with some kind of reluctant agreement to at least try
I think you're right.
a non-lethal approach in the future.
I think yes, I think there was some sort of commitment to that, but yes. And finally, after the awkward dinner, deciding it was finally time to go and meet her aunt and get some answers, Christina and the rest of the party made their way across town to Morgrave Manor. And in a sort of very cinematic moment, we saw this sign on the wall that said Morgrave Manor, with this kind of bush over it, that kind of the wind blew. And Tali, you saw, revealed to you the full title of Morgrave Manor. Do you remember what that was?
Yeah, it was the sanatorium for the magically afflicted, I believe.
That is correct. Morgrave Manor, sanatorium for the magically afflicted. And that is where we pick up.
By the way,
Tali walked in with the purple hair and it's fine.
Yeah.
And the eyes are all funky colours.
For the benefit of the whoever is watching, this was new information for Ryan. Completely.
Yes, but at the
Shocked.
time it was also new information for all of you.
Technically, Tali hasn't mentioned it to the rest of the group because we're not really.
No,
Also,
not yet.
I can't read anyway.
So yes, so Morgrave Manor stands before you, an imposing stone edifice. You see that the once colourful plastered walls have chipped away where moss and mildew have grown through the stonework and broken through the plaster. Heavy drapes cover every window, including a large arched opening above the manor's double entrance doors. A once prim and proper garden flanks a pathway leading from the heavy black iron gates to the front entrance. Where once there possibly might have been colourful flowers, now twisted weeds and gnarled shrubs have exploded from wooden planters, threatening to choke a stoic grey marble statue of an unfurled scroll which stands strong against the oncoming tide of vegetation in the centre of the pathway. And even from where you stand behind the gates, you can feel this oppressive weight in the air. This is clearly a building that has long been neglected, but even more so than that, it feels as if this place has been suffused with a deep sorrow and misery that has seeped into the very building and gardens around it. So yeah, you guys are stood outside this thick, heavy iron gate, black painted iron between two stone pillars that then kind of turns into a wall that kind of works its way around the perimeter of this building. Christina, this was the gate that you arrived at last time you were here, and upon arrival, obviously a familiar raven flew down on top of one of the perches and started screaming at you about how you needed the rest of your party to be here.
Yeah.
You do not see that particular raven right now. In fact, you do, however, see something different to when you were last here. The two walls on either side of the gate, before, the top of them, the little the plinth at the top was completely blank. There is now a statue of a raven on one and a statue of a wolf on the other.
Okay.
Yeah, what do you want to do?
Kind of anticipated it to be Spud, not the wolf.
Yeah.
Like he turned them to stone.
Spud is a little bit weird.
He did say he was a wolf.
Wait, 1 second. Does this imply that both Ikriador and the actual name of Spud,
Scrim?
Scrim, sorry, have turned into stone, or is Spud with us and it's just like an effigy of?
So Creador and Spud/Scrim, when Christina was teleported into the Messer's base, they did not come with you, and you have not seen them since.
Oh, not even returning to the pub. Oh,
I might be able to tell if it's magic or not. I don't. Do I?
No wonder. Yeah.
So I've got the spell Identify, but that's for like magic items or magic imbued objects.
Yeah, so you could potentially, if you were to touch one of these statues, you could cast Identify on it to see if it is magic, and obviously it would tell you if it is or isn't. These are about probably 8 to 10 feet up, so you'd have to kind of climb and awkwardly hang to kind of do it. So obviously you absolutely can do if you want to, but I mean, at a very basic level, roll me an Arcana check.
Arcana check. 17.
17.
Wow.
Whether these relate to, or whether these are, there is clearly has to be something magical about this, because there were not 2 statues there last time you were here. There now are, and as kind of Unai pointed out, Creador and Spud/Scrim are apparently in a raven, which is obvious for Creador, but Spud always stated that he was actually a wolf.
Yeah.
And you do also remember that, I think it was a Creador, and it might have been a session when you weren't there, Verity, but a Creador mentioned that they were summoned by Madame Morgrave to find you. So there's a few things going on there. Whether or not they've been turned into stone, that you cannot tell right now, but it gives you this kind of cold shiver down your spine, I suppose, the possibility that might have happened.
Definitely. Pebble is definitely like, because we didn't even check on. Oh, that was so selfish. Okay, I didn't even check on Spud when we came back to the pub. Anyway, sorry.
You were a little busy, to be fair.
Yeah.
You came back and then had an argument, so.
Yeah. But dinner. Anyway.
Okay, my next thing is going to be. Ugh, that's creepy. Are the gates locked?
So you see the gates, they have like a latch on it. It's kind of on the inside, one of those sort of latches where you could sort of push it and it would just open up. But there doesn't appear to be any like lock or like a key or anything like that. It just appears that latch, and you could very easily reach through the bars and just open it, it seems.
I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
Go to the door.
Yeah, so you walk up to the gates and you sort of put your hand through and push down the latch, and you would imagine a place is sort of dilapidated and disregarded this, you'd expect some resistance, like a rust. This latch opens really easily, almost as if it's welcoming you in. And as you kind of do, you feel that the gates themselves just slide open. You're not sure if by magic or if just the place is on a slope, but it does feel this kind of strange, that this place is opening up to you and welcoming you in.
Welcoming.
Yeah.
Come on, small and mighty, let's go!
Woo!
Is there so Tani's kind of at the back of the group, I imagine, and like seeing the sign. Is there anything else obviously sort of threatening, out of place, like
Maybe a
perception check? Yeah.
Ooh, spooky.
Are there other ways out?
Yeah. That's a good one.
That was not a good roll though.
Is there
that's an 8.
8. Having a quick look around.
Fine.
So
it's an okay roll.
this is kind of like a fenced-off, walled-off garden at the front of the manor. You could potentially like trying to walk the whole perimeter of the manor. But you can kind of see there's a larger wall that sort of maybe backs off a back garden to it. You have no idea what kind of state that would be in, but apart from like a window, there does appear to be this one main entrance, this kind of like pebble pathway that kind of walks from the entrance through to the main door. You see that the pathway kind of curls and rounds around that grey marble statue of a unfurled scroll. And then just off the edges of this pathway, you can see kind of creeping into it is just these horrible gnarled plants. They're thorny and viney, and you're like, they look dangerous in of themselves.
They look Maleficent-esque.
Yeah, I'd say that.
That vibe. Cool. I mean, Pebble doesn't like it, but when I like it.
Thanks, Unai.
Yeah. Ay. What am I gonna do?
Do you head on inside? You open the gates, Christina. Do you enter? Into the gardens?
Yeah.
So you make way. The ground crunches as you see the stone pathway underfoot. You walk again. That's scroll before you, and you kind of curve around it. And do you head straight up to the doors?
Yeah, and I'm gonna knock on the door.
Excellent. Are the rest of you guys following?
Pebble's gonna, yeah. Pebble's just like, he's Mayam and Christina. Like, I mean, we have to stay together. Yeah. Pebble, yeah.
Yeah.
Pebble's scared as shit. Like, Pebble's shitting himself, but he's following.
So you follow on. As you do make your way into the grounds, it becomes visible to all of you that sign that says Morgrave Manor, Sanatorium for the Magically Afflicted. It is a sign that is kind of just to the left of the main doorway, built into the stonework. Christina, you go into these big, heavy, kind of dark oaken doors, and you give it a resounding boom, 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 boom. You hear the sound echoing out in the room beyond. There is no response.
Brask, lean over to somebody and be. Does it say?
Oh, the sanatorium for the magically inflicted. But would Brask understand those words? Those are big words for Elmo. I mean Brask. Sorry, that's a weird reference.
You're angry, Elmo.
So yes, Pebble tells you these words,
Yeah.
Brask. The sanatorium part probably does go over Brask's head. You're not really sure what that word is. Magically afflicted. That's probably that probably lands well enough in Brask's mind. I imagine for Brask's sake, you got that magic license. You're fine.
I was gonna say Brask is gonna like just have his magic license at the ready.
Yeah.
Great.
Somewhere.
Has Tarly heard about these kind of places before? I don't know if I asked that last session. Like,
I think you might have asked me outside of session. I said we'll roll a history check when we start playing. So let's roll a history check.
Very nice.
Oh, can I roll a history check?
Yeah, absolutely. If anyone else wants to roll a history check for the same reason, I will allow that.
15.
15, that's fine.
Yeah.
Things about to get historic. Both.
I got 14.
Natural 20
Natural 20.
Hey!
plus 2. If it makes any difference, which it doesn't.
Chad, you rolling for this?
Yeah, 21.
21, excellent. Brass, you can roll if you want to. I'll say with disadvantage because you are.
Oscar's still trying to figure out what sanatorium means.
Excellent. Okay, we'll leave it there.
He thinks it means like sanitation.
Yeah.
This is where they do magical cleaning.
Oh,
Yes.
cleansing.
Okay.
A spa.
Let me have a little think what we get. So, Tali and Christina, you have heard of places like this. For Christina, you are obviously from a nation that is inherently magical. South Kostrand, embraces magic in every part of the society. But so for you would have heard it from the reason why South Kostrand is separate from the rest of Kostrand. Kostrand itself, and this is where Tali's knowledge kind of overlaps, it's a very anti-magic nation. More so than Dalbridge. Dalbridge has leniency in that you have magical licenses. Kostrand itself was incredibly anti-magic, to the point where anyone who had any sign of magic was immediately put to death for witchcraft. There were places, however, where, like in all societies, people who have money can get away with certain things. So, if you were a commoner who had magic, you were hung almost immediately for witchcraft. But if you were someone of status, maybe like a high-ranking general in the army, or just a noble, there were places. Sanatorium wasn't always the name used, but very much asylum, sanatorium, that kind of thing, to try and solve or fix people's magic. Fairly hush-hush, but it is that sort of event and the general killing of mages that eventually led to a civil war, and then South Costrand becoming very split off from North Costrand, which, especially to your knowledge, Charlie, has only doubled down on the attitudes of North Costrand and its hatred of magic, as it is now at a cold war with South Costrand, which is a magical nation. Chad, you with a 21 have heard all of that. You probably are aware of maybe a few places like this dotted around Riverdan. There was a story of, you heard one in Brattonshire, there was a place that was a facility designed, an alchemical facility designed to try and make a sort of medicine for magic, that was burnt down a number of years ago by someone named Gelder Valtaran, which is a name you recognise because he is the politician who brought magical license into effect in Dalbridge. This event happened maybe about a year before he became a politician and started pushing for magical licenses. So there was an altercation between him and someone who was trying to fix magic.
Interesting.
Pebble, for you,
Oh, sorry.
because you got a natural 20,
Fuck.
you've heard all of those bits.
Everything.
You've also heard a bit about Morgrave Manor.
Oh.
Morgrave Manor was very much like all the rest of these places, a place that was a sanatorium for magic afflicted. It was somewhere that very similar to what was happening in Kostran, where nobles and rich people could send their addled children, so to speak, to try and have them cured of magic. It was successful in a sense that popular, I guess, is a more real way of putting it. But it did house many children here for a long time. And then it just seemed to drop off the map. Unlike the other place in Dalbridge, which the name forgets me for the moment, but which had an actual fire and shut down, this place just was very popular, and then just seemed to be disappeared. People just seemed to stop talking about it, forgot about it. You don't know if there was some sort of incident that no one wants to talk about, or if there's something else at work that made people forget about it.
Can I interject real quick?
Yeah, yeah.
I was a bit distracted by chat. Two things. One, I completely blanked on the description you gave me for what this place was.
As in what I just described to you.
the thing that Christina and Tali know. People
There
got
were places-
killed.
Sorry, in Kostrand there was places like this, though, but they were only for the children of army generals or nobles, because that nation is so anti-magic. If you were a commoner and you had magic, you were just killed in the street, hung in the street for witchcraft.
Yep.
So places like this were kind of more quiet and secluded for when a decorated general
Oh, I
had a
see.
child who had magic, they would send them off to somewhere like a sanatorium to kind of try and fix them or kind of hide them away.
But it's do we know in history if people have come out of these sanatoriums or no? That's just kept quiet.
You have not heard of anyone coming out of these sanatoriums.
Uh,
In Dalbridge, unlike Kostran, however, it is a bit more... There isn't such a class divide. Surprisingly, despite everything else that goes on in Dalbridge, these places typically were more open to people of all backgrounds because there wasn't that level of... Again, there's more openness in Dalbridge about magic in general, so there wasn't a sort of shame in pushing people here. And in fact, because there was an openness to it, the other one in Dalbridge was sort of a celebrated institute of medicine that was getting public funding to try and solve magic at the time.
I mean, they are open in magic, but as long as you have a license and as long as you don't use it too much, because what happened with the Grand Inquisitor thing in the square was
so with magical licenses, basically you apply for a license to use your magic in a very particular way.
Yeah,
and if that is approved, you can only use it in that way. So for example,
to help you at home and shit like that, right?
Kind of. It's more like it has to be applied to a craft. So if you want to be if you can control fire and you want to be a blacksmith, you can apply to use your fire for blacksmithing, for example.
Okay.
But if you're ever seen using fire in any other circumstance, then it goes back to the original rules of you're an apostate and you will be basically jailed, killed, something to that effect, depending on the severity of your crimes.
Okay, so the difference is literally the license, but people are just
but
as...
again, places like Morgrave Manor and the other one, amazing. Well done, Ryan.
Found it.
These places were popular and functional before magic licenses. You're
Oh,
not
okay,
really
yeah.
aware of anything like this since magic licenses have become a thing.
But I don't know. I'm in a bit of two minds because Pebble might think, maybe this is where she lives now, but this has gone long out of business. But also, Madame Morgrave implies that. Do I know that her name is Madame Morgrave? It implies that she's got a tie knot. She's close to potentially the sentiment of curing people off of magic, but she's using magic as well. So Pebble is confused at the moment.
Yes,
and
so
obviously
there
very
is very much
scared.
an interesting conflict there. As you're aware,
Yeah.
there is clearly some magic about this place because of Christina's connection and stuff like that. So, yeah, absolutely, you're right to be curious about that kind of the conflict.
And also
of
very
values
scared.
there.
And also very scared. And Pebble is gonna turn to Tally and ask, Tally, are you sure that? I mean, I'm not trying to, exploit your abilities or anything, but are you sure that this is the only way to get this off of my?
Well, I mean, there are other ways, but it's quite powerful magic, so it would. There wouldn't. We don't. Tali doesn't know where someone else would be who could take this off, so we wouldn't
The
be
problem-
able to get to them before you're on.
Yeah.
Very much that. The problem has never
Time is running
been.
short.
This is the only solution.
Yeah.
It has been.
Sorry,
This
I
is
phrased
the
it
only
wrong.
solution that you are aware of, and that you can get to in the time frame.
So I think Pebble then is gonna ask more do you think this is a good? Do you still think this is a good idea? I don't. Pebble is just all over the place. I think he's
Tali doesn't know, but at least we're together. At least
Yeah.
we're a group.
Okay, deep breath, go in. Deep breath, go in. Deep breath, go in.
Also, I don't want to be too disruptive, but can we get a little description of what Christina looks like for the chat? Because we have a lovely
Artist
person in chat
wanting
offering to do
to-
a quick little sketch
Seems
for a little
Amazing.
warm up.
Oh,
Art stuff. I mean, we rolled a d6, and then it will
The one.
just be Christina in the order of the stream.
Oh.
Sorry to put you on the spot, but
Yeah, no,
Public
please
help.
do.
What do you look like?
I mean, it seems pertinent considering this is Christina's plotline.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
fitting. I'm just gonna not to put you on the spot, Verity, but I'm just gonna do the big close up on you. So there we go.
Just to put you on the spot. Not
no
to put you on the spot, but to
pressure.
put you on the spot.
Yeah,
But
bigger.
literally-
Zoom it in more.
I can't. It breaks things
Okay.
up.
So I haven't thought about what Christina looks like in a very long time. So, she's at 22, 23, early 20s. I can't remember what height she is. But I like the idea that she's about 6 foot.
Oh wow.
I really like tall women.
Yes.
Olive skinned from being from the coast, being a bit south. And long, dark brown hair in those different braids and adorned in ribbons. Very kind of tangled, partly braided, partly just beach wave sort of feeling.
All right. That's kind of cool.
I think green eyes. Let's go with green eyes. That'll look pretty good. And then kind of a more slender build.
Mhm.
And then clothes-wise, basically what I wear in real life, which is super hippie.
Yeah.
I have. I wore this a few weeks ago, but I have big pink kaftan. So I'm gonna put Christina in a rainbow kaftan
Cool.
because that's really good for fighting, isn't it?
Yeah. I like
So
it.
practical.
Brown walking boots.
Neat.
Yeah, which
Wonderful.
differs from the little characters that we made in the. That's just
Yeah.
my little.
It's not dissimilar. I got the image up because I was curious to see how close your description would be to the thing you made way back when, and it's not dissimilar. So,
No.
excellent.
I guess to just clarify, just in case, because I think this is Six of Spades' first time viewing.
Oh.
Christina is human.
Half elf.
Oh,
Or elf
Half
itself.
elf.
That's it. Yeah.
Oh,
Pointy
I
ears,
didn't
not
know
pointy
this.
ears.
Pointed ears.
Pointy ears. Yeah.
Slightly pointed ears.
Should have started with that, to be
To
fair.
down.
Pointy
That's
ears
kind of-
like
kind of
this or pointy
important.
ears like that? Yeah.
Like,
Ah, nice. Cool.
Welcome, Six of Spades.
Yeah. Thanks
Thank
for
you for
Very
the
welcome.
follow
This
as
is really
well.
It was
yeah.
an entrance and a half. But yeah, we appreciate it, like, for sure. Neat. Oh, I'm excited.
Back to our regularly scheduled.
Yes.
Yeah.
The program. So where were we? Yes,
Take
you are
over.
in the courtyard, standing before this door and sign. Christina, you have knocked on it. It rings out loudly, but there is no response.
Right then, I'd better do an investigation check into one of the windows to see what I can see.
Yeah. Romy, I'll let you do investigation or perception. I will just give the caveat. To get to the windows, if with an investigation, you will have to sort of tread through the kind of brambles and stuff. Whereas a perception check, you can stay where you are.
Oh, brambles are fine.
Go for it.
Can Tally do a perception check? Because if there's no lights on, that's okay. Because I have the dark.
Yep.
26.
26. Okay.
Oh, maybe I don't need to.
No,
That's
doing
fine.
it. You don't know what Christina's got.
13.
13. Okay. I'll start with Ty, just for the sake of it. You quickly skim over these windows. You can see the glass in some places cracked a little bit, but each one has these heavy drapes over them. Whether there is light or not within these buildings, you cannot tell. And it is very stark because I didn't describe the weather, but we did at the end of last session. It is evening time now, and it is very clouds kind of cover the sky, and it is starting to drip with rain.
Just as
The
moody
very
as we are.
stark darkness
Yeah.
of these windows is telling that there is no light pouring through. Christina, you sort of try and trace your way with your heavy boots, as you described, through the shrubs to one of these windows, and even with the, I think 23 you said, you find very much the same thing. Like, you look around, there is no light, there's heavy drapes. You kind of put your ear against the window and listen, and you're not hearing much either. Seems to be no life within this. However, as you are there, you've gone off the beaten path. Does a
Oh no.
a 4 will not hit you. You watch as one of these brambled shrubs just lashes out at you and tries to slash at you.
Ooh.
And you
so
sort of
good.
jump at the last moment and pull away from it, but it does kind of tear through some of your clothing.
I was going to say, if you gave me piercing damage through walking through the brambles, I was going to be very upset. But now I know they're coming to life, it's quite a different story.
Well, as you kind of move, you jump away from it and come back on the pathway. You watch as the thing that kind of like branch moves, and then just kind of comes back to a resting position,
Oh.
and nothing happens. Nothing more happens. It's not as if some creature is like pulling itself out of the ground.
No, it's just
It's just
the
kind of lashed out at you and then has come back to a resting position.
the brambles are a bit rude, basically.
Chad is gonna walk towards the main. I imagine Chad was kind of towards the back as well because he's kind of trying to not
So-
annoy anyone.
He's sulking around. Yeah,
Not
yeah,
again.
I get that.
Chad's gonna walk up to the main front door and he's gonna try and open it.
Sure.
Just to see
You
if
try and
it's-
open it. So yeah,
see
there's
if
a
it's
big like
unlocked.
so there's a big like ring handle kind of things, and you kind of rattle it, and these doors appear to be locked in some fashion, and you can see there is keyholes in the double doors,
Right. Okay.
but
Cool.
it is locked, and you can feel it as on like trying to. The door doesn't really rattle. These are heavy oak doors, and there are clearly some heavy like bolt works in there. You think like. You obviously, your next instinct might be, I'll just bash it down, but you're like, this
No,
would be
that's yeah.
hard to break down. You don't think impossible, but it would take a lot of work and a lot of damage to break this. This is
It'd be
like a very
lot easier
old.
to just break a window. Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of, for you especially, Chad, reminds you almost like this. This is a door that is barricaded, almost like a fortress. The weight of it like feels heavy, and the kind of what you guys are picking up about sanatoriums and stuff. You wonder if this is less about keeping people out. Keeping people in,
Yeah.
but stopping people from getting out.
Yeah.
Has anyone ever come across the really hokey old film The Keep?
No,
No.
I haven't had a
It
pleasure.
is with a soundtrack by Tangerine Dream, and it had that exact tagline. It was just this like World War II era castle. It's like, this wasn't built to keep people out. It was built to keep whatever's inside from, or whatever it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep whatever's
Massive
inside
vibes.
in.
I'd really love the idea that the tagline is that waffly as well. This is not to keep people out, it's to keep people, the inside monster in. Yeah.
It's almost like this.
It's-
Oh, you won't believe that this keep. Oh God,
it sure is a
expected
keeper.
to be trying to keep people out. Oh, you're gonna be so surprised.
It overuses the word keep. It's not meant to keep people out, it's meant to keep the people inside,
Kept.
keep them inside in the
Well
keep.
kept. Yes.
Well
Love it.
kept, yeah. Anyway,
Love it.
Anyway.
Is it very dark? It's very dark,
yes,
right?
it is very dark.
Well, I guess
yeah.
actually that doesn't quite.
It's very damn.
So unless there is any light
Sorry.
sources that you guys
Well,
have on you,
Tali's gonna touch her holy symbol and cast a light cantrip.
yeah.
Are we in kind of a secluded part of town?
Yes, you are basically on the. You kind of walked. I mean, if you look quickly on Roll20, if anything's got open, that doesn't matter if you haven't. But
I do.
I haven't. I never put it on the map.
No.
I'll go a little ping on the map, so I forgot to update it. I did this so long ago. If you look here, where that ping is,
Oh,
you are literally. You've kind of
Oh,
walked
wait.
past the edge of the actual city, and you're kind of a bit more into the sort of fields and stuff outside. This is probably properly on the outskirts of town.
can we do the ping,
Which
ping,
is-
ping, ping, ping again?
Yeah,
Sorry.
I'll tell you what. I'll put something on the map.
Oh, neat.
A little token just so anyone can see it, because I forgot it wasn't part of the map.
It's just to the north of the Black Mountain Brewery.
Hey,
Yeah,
wow.
You can see where I left a space for something and I never filled it in.
Yeah.
That deformed in a way I didn't want. Anyway, there. Oh, I didn't
For some
realize
reason,
that at all.
that token.
It's fine. It's there.
Yeah, it's fine.
Whatever. There. Oh.
The token reminds me of audible gasp, like of something is there.
Morgrave Manor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exciting. Good.
So yeah, so you are very secluded here. Which you think, again, being a sanatorium, kind of the point.
Yeah, that's fine. So yeah, we'll touch the holy symbol and cast a light cantrip just so we can sort of see what we're doing.
Cool.
Brask,
Yes.
Brian shove his finger in the keyhole and use his big long claws to try and pick the lock.
Wow, that's skills, mate. Are you
Uh,
He has no reason to suggest he can do this.
Ah,
He
right,
just
he's
thinks
just-
it might work. He doesn't know how
I
locks
love
work,
Brask.
other than just a thing has to go in a hole.
Yep. That's yeah.
Amazing. Please roll me. We'll call this a sleight of hand check, because that's basically doing.
Out of claw
Very good.
check.
Or
Yeah.
Side of claw, yeah.
4.
You break your.
we've got
claw.
10 tries. He's got lots of claws.
Yeah, you've got your nail in there. You're digging around,
You're
rooting
stuck
around,
now.
there is a snap noise, and you do come back, and your claw has got a lot shorter.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
That's locked, guys.
Oh, wait.
Is there a my brain is just like an intercom system? Because this is a
Oh.
sanatorium, right? They potentially had deliveries of goods
Like a
and
wire.
or new people. So yeah, like is there a sort of a buzzer?
So in terms of like intercom, this.
I mean,
this
yeah,
big-
the fantasy the equivalent.
yeah. The
You
steampunk
you're set in the
equivalent,
industrial. There are phones. There might
No,
be
no, no.
intercom.
Yeah.
This is what I was going to say. Although that potentially does exist in this time period, you think this building predates that level of technology. That said, looking around, there probably would be like a bell kind of thing, like
Oh, neat.
by the side of the door, like a proper, not a doorbell, but an actual
Like,
doorbell.
yeah.
The string you pull and stuff like that.
Neat. I
So
like that.
you can go and ring that,
Yes.
which I guess you do, and you hear this kind of very low, like, dolorous kind of dong, dong.
I didn't expect that. That's cool.
Rings out again, and nothing seems to happen.
Oh, how many times does it echo? No, sorry.
I'll roll a dice for it.
Wow! Roll a D100.
Oh, it
No,
echoes
no.
10 times, which is an ominous amount of times, because
Whoa.
that would be. Dun,
That's crazy.
dun.
Yeah. So it eerie.
Holly does have something
It
else
just
say
seems
they
to
wanna
continue,
try.
like, it seems to just hang in the air longer and
Ooh.
longer and longer.
Oh, I
that
like
echo.
this ambientation.
Sorry, what was that, Sarah?
Well, like, if that doesn't work, Talia has one more thing they'd like to
Mhm.
try, which is to go. There's a keyhole, right? So there's like a you could sort of look in.
Yeah.
Um, or shout in. So I want to have a quick look first. Like, do I see anybody inside?
Like, peek for the keyhole.
immediately? Yeah.
Um,
But if not, you will just
Brask's nail.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same.
well, technically, so like I said, there's 2 doors, both with keyholes, so
right,
you can
right.
look at the other one. Yeah, roll a perception check. I know you have dark vision, but you're still gonna have disadvantage of this because there is a lack of light source, and you're going into.
I have the light cantrip, but.
Yeah, but how are you going to cast it and look through the keyhole?
I don't know. It's a good.
Unless you cast it on your eyeball. No, let's not do that.
That's
yeah,
good.
no, you also have
I think
disadvantage.
that one. That one? No, I was wrong. That's a 7. I can't read.
7.
13 altogether.
Okay, all 13 to go. You look through, and you are obviously very limited by what you can see because of the keyhole. But looking through, you do start to see that there is what appears to be some sort of like entrance antechamber. You can see like a carpet kind of running off of the floor. You see what appears to be a set of stairs, like a grand staircase that leads up to another floor. Part of it is broken. It actually seems to have collapsed partway through, completely preventing entrance up to another floor. You see on the side there appears to be almost like a reception desk, covered in like dust, and there is this bust of like a humanoid figure. You can't make out enough details of it, but like propped on the desk.
Yeah, I do want to shout through the keyhole.
We do have like.
What do you shout?
Go on.
Through the keyhole!
Yeah.
I mean, it's what you said.
It's going to be
Wait.
hello. We have Christina. I believe she's a relative of yours, and you put a band on a friend's arm, and his arm's gonna fall.
Hello.
So Tali would really appreciate if you would answer the door when we arrive at your request.
Please.
Please?
Thank you. Okay, bye.
Maybe a charisma check.
Oh.
Oh boy. Let's see. Just a
Just a
just
charisma
a
check.
flat like a
Seduce
a flat
the door.
charisma check.
Seduce the door.
Oh shit, that's a natural 20.
Ooh.
Hey!
-1, but still natural.
That's fine. It's natural 20.
Tali's anxiety-ridden call
Yeah.
out.
Sorry.
You are welcome.
You ruined Adam's plan.
Not expecting this to work.
That was one of those rolls where I was going to say anything you roll is not going to do anything. Natural 20, I feel like I need to honor that in some way.
Great. The door says no.
I mean, Chad is very impressed. He continues to from like what was it from like yesterday or the day before with the whole just a car thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Chad's like,
Yeah,
What?
just
Yeah.
there is a presence about Tali that is continuing to
Yeah.
impress you.
She's just being herself. That's what counts.
Hey.
Charlie, you shout this into the keyhole, which is a ridiculous thing anyway. It's just like,
With all
hello!
so it echoes, you know. So it'll,
Yeah,
like-
no, it's fine, but it is still silly.
It is very silly, yes.
I love it.
And you hear it echo throughout that hall. And then it goes quiet for a while.
Oh.
And then you hear a whisper of a voice on the other side. You need to solve the puzzle to get in.
Oh, what?
Oh, you have to solve the puzzle to get
No,
there.
I'm not doing that.
Tali is gonna she's gonna step back. She's gonna go to Christina direct and be like, so Tali did hear something, and it sounds like there's a puzzle to open the door, and it you know, you're the one, your family wanted you to come here, so
Oh, I'm not.
maybe
I'm
it'll
not.
be something you can.
Nah, I'm not. No, nah. Nah.
Why?
Well,
What
if
a
we don't,
time
then-
waster. What a time waster. Sorry, Tali. I'm just not impressed with this fool.
Well, that's not. That's okay. It's not. I don't. It's not. Yeah, it's not. It. Yeah.
I was gonna be like,
Seems-
yeah, let's solve the puzzle. please.
Has everyone heard?
Oh
that?
yeah, that's the.
Only Talia heard it, but obviously Talia, you said out loud then you solve a puzzle, so.
Okay. Cat's gonna just immediately begin again because he's just not trying to sort of win his friends back. He's just gonna sort of quietly, now he knows there's a puzzle, just have a look and sort of just take stock of the things that. I'm gonna do a perception check. I just want to see what Chad can piece together as potentially are the constituent parts of this puzzle.
Absolutely. Roll me a perception check.
So we're just gonna quietly do this. An 11.
11. The DC for this was going to be 10, so to get you're going to get more the higher you go. But
yes, the statues.
The thing that stands out to you is the big statue. You've all passed it at this point, but you go back down the pathway to the center of it. There is this marble statue of this unfurled scroll, and it occurs to you that maybe that may have something to do with it. And the more you look at it, the more you see like the actual where the weeds and plants are kind of growing the pathway. They almost do kind of still cut that perfect circle around it.
Mm.
Interesting. Dad's gonna go over and look at that. He's gonna. Yeah, he's not gonna say anything, but he's just sort of gonna go over and just have a look at that and see what we can figure out.
Yeah, I'll let you roll me once you get an investigation or Arcana check as you arrive at this scroll.
They're both +0.
That's fine.
That's a healthy 9.
Ooh,
9.
That's
Okay.
very healthy.
You're trying so hard, Chad. You're like, I need to impress my friends. And you're looking at this, and what you do get with a 9 is this isn't like this unfurled scroll. It is made of this kind of grey marble, but it is like pristine condition. Like everything else in this courtyard unguarded is falling apart. There's like moss growing through the stonework, for God's sake. But this thing is pristine, and not just is it pristine. You see that there are like beautifully carved words written in enters and symbols and diagrams. It looks as if like a handwritten scroll, apart from there is these indentation to the point where you're like, I'm not sure any person could make this by hand.
Right.
This doesn't look like it could be chiseled. They're like beautiful curving flowing diagrams within this. And the more you look at this, you are convinced that A, this is probably made by magic, but also B, that this is a depiction of a magic scroll.
Right.
What it depicts and means goes completely over your head.
Right,
Like, you've
that's
never seen
fine.
anything like this, but you're like,
That's fine.
this seems like wizard stuff to me. Like, just
So
basically where your brain's going.
So it's not like celestial writing that I would understand.
No, there doesn't, like,
okay.
there are symbols here, but it's almost like
Like an equation.
it's kind of things like the Greek alphabet being used, but also like, trigonometry and stuff like this. Doesn't look like, to at least to you especially, it doesn't look like anything's been written here. This isn't like a translation thing. This is almost like mathematical equations, practically. Like that's the level of like, what is this?
Too technical.
Pretty much. It's
Chad's
an IKEA
gonna-
manual.
Chad's going to kind of clear his throat and very sheepishly go. Christina, Tali, Pebble, Brask as well. I imagine you probably. Anyway, maybe Brask if you want to come over. Maybe it would have something to do with this. I don't. It looks interesting, maybe helpful. I don't really know much more than that.
Yeah, Pebble buys that.
However,
And he's going to kind of shuffle out of the way as people come over. If
Oh.
other people come out, he's going to kind of like sort of.
Yeah, he does it.
micro
It's very large statues. You don't actually have to move that far, but you'll kind of crowd around this, and I will have Arcana checks from Tali, Pebble, and Christina.
can I actually just can I guidance Christina
Absolutely, Candy.
instead in the vein, because I feel like it's more like Tali is trying to help her make
Yeah.
sense of it rather than trying to like
I
read
like
it
that.
herself.
How do
So,
you
oh, yeah.
describe the guidance to me?
I mean, although it is a spell, I kind of like the way I like to see this is sort of like Christina's looking at it, Tali's looking at it, and Tali's like, "Oh, I think this bit means this," and then like kind of putting like the knowledge
Like practical.
together.
Yeah.
Okay, it is a spell, but I'm seeing this more as like a fluff, like
Yeah.
like
Like
they're
time
just
spent
they're
together.
like workshopping
trying
it. They're
to-
like, oh,
yeah,
maybe
yeah.
this could mean this, and maybe this would that
Brainstorming.
make sense of it, or maybe I remember seeing this symbol
I
somewhere.
mean, considering that's what you're doing, I will make the argument that you can also take the help action then. So this will be Christina. Basically, roll Arcana with advantage and add a D4 to it.
Ooh.
Oh, that's very nice.
I rolled a
Tali-
12. Now I
So
rolled
you
a
roll-
16.
Yeah.
Yep.
Very nice.
What's a D4?
Yes, add a D4.
D4. Yeah. The triangle.
Oh,
And
so I get 20.
I guess, and I
20.
guess
Wow.
like Tali's eyes might kind of color like kind of
Yeah.
a bluish color, and like Christina's
Ooh.
might as well, like to sort of because
So I imagine kind of as like a joint effort. Like, obviously there was a mechanical benefit there, but I think Pebble, Tali, and Christine, you're all kind of looking at this, and the more you stare at this, the more you recognise that this isn't just a random statue.
Mm.
It occurs to you very quickly. This is a functioning spell scroll, albeit made of marble and carved.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Like a spell scroll would be. Like, Christine, you have these in your spell book. This is a diagram that if you were to follow the somatic and verbal components of this, it would allow you to cast a spell. And more so than that, especially with a 20, you become very aware that not only this is a spell scroll that you can cast, this is the detect magic spell. So if one of you, and all three of you could do this because you are all casters, if you were to follow the instructions on this scroll, you would cast a detect magic spell.
I'm doing it.
Yep.
So I'm not
So Christina,
messing about
I'm doing
today.
it.
Something is
Can
fair
Tali
enough.
help? Like I want to like give
Yeah.
either guidance.
Yeah.
or-
I guess we can thematically say that plays into the kind of help and the guidance. As you kind of uncover this, you're also helping kind of follow the process. Especially as, although Christine, you do have a spell book and spells in it, this kind of stuff, this kind of more methodical kind of magic is still very new to you. And Pebble, I think you're watching on the sideline. And you cast a detect magic. And as you do, there is this kind of like pulse of energy that comes out of you, Christina. And your eyes glow this kind of faint purple kind of sheen. As I will just get the detect magic spell up. If I thought about this, I should have done this ahead of time, but here we go. And describe to you what it does. Also, while I'm doing this, Christina, as part of your warlock thing with the spellbook, you can copy spells into your spellbook. You think at some point, if you spend, because I think it takes like 2 hours to do it, it's not a quick thing,
Oh,
but
wow.
if you wanted to at some point, you could copy this spell
That's
scroll
super cool.
into your book.
That
Cool.
is super cool.
But you don't think that's a thing for this minute. That is a maybe come back later.
I don't have my pencil case.
Neat.
So detect magic. So yes. So the spell lasts for 10 minutes and it is concentration. For the duration, you sense the presence of magic within 30 feet of you. You sense magic in this way. You can, if you sense magic in this way, you can use your action to see a faint aura around any visible creature or object in the area that bears magic, and you learn its school of magic, if anything. So your eyes glow over. You see sort of faint points of magic in various places. You see that the shrubs have this faint magical glow around them. You see that the boomerang that Brask has magic. You sense that Tali just has a generic aura of magic about them already, but there is a sort of focused point of magic on a pendant they're wearing.
That's cool.
I imagine one of you has the Silverite sword that has this kind of very faint magic essence to it, like much fainter than say like Dragon Fang does. It just seems to have a sort of subtle magic effect to it. Pebble radiates kind of this kind of like chaotic magic, whereas Tali has this kind of like, Tali has this kind of like golden aura.
Yeah.
Pebble has this kind of like rainbow colored kind of party going on,
Yeah,
which just
yeah,
kind of
like-
flows over them.
Whee!
Chad has an aura, but Chad's is almost like an inverted aura, like light seems to be seeping into Chad.
Ugh.
Little.
But also, notably, you get this magic aura coming from the sign that says Morgrave Manor on it. And you see that there's coming almost like symbols kind of on the wall, kind of around that sign. And if you want to, you can use your action to make it glow, as described in the spell.
Quick point, because I don't know if
Yep.
this is how your magic works in your game, but I think the spell also tells you the school of magic.
If the school of magic is a thing that's relevant.
Is it not relevant for the pendant?
Magic items don't have schools of magic. It gets complicated, so I don't
okay,
have to
that's
make
fine,
stuff
that's
up. So, in my world, schools of magic are a bit whatever. So,
No worries.
but if Christina's interested in that, I can give you more information. But the point being is, you sense that there is something about the sign, and if you used your action, you could reveal that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do it.
So, if everyone quickly looks at roll 20, you'll see something happens to the sign.
Yeah, tell us, like, do you
Wait,
see anything?
can I map time?
Yeah. Christina, I'll put a picture of this in the Discord for you because you're obviously not on Discord right now. But you see that some text appears above the sign to Morgrave Manor.
Oh,
That's a lot of numbers, my guy.
There is a lot of numbers.
Ah.
So
Boo.
you see. Let me get there. Come on. Okay.
I like the ligatures between the F, F, and L in afflicted. Sorry, typography.
Hold on a second. It's coming once for this. 2 seconds. Talk amongst yourself while I figure this out.
That's
Get it
fine.
into Discord.
Fucking.
Tali, I guess, is like, Christina, did it what?
Well, at this point, Christina has
Yeah.
can't use
Oh,
the
I
actions.
see.
You
Sorry.
guys all see this.
Oh.
Oh,
colour
I see.
Oh, neat.
as she has focused her attention on this image. This text. There you go. Verity, if you
Not
look in the
what
handouts
I am-
channel on Discord, you will see the same image everyone else does now.
it's not what I immediately thought it was.
Well, it looks.
For the guys who are on Roll20, if you want, there is a pen tool. Feel free to doodle on this image. And if you want to try and work this out as a group.
Oh, neat! Pentool! Oh, shit, sorry, no, I can't do it.
But
I'm gonna do it in the
it
other
goes
way.
without saying, for those of you, this is obviously some sort of code.
Neat.
I'm gonna say something
So-
of the something.
Something of the something.
Yeah.
Well, if we if we the numbers might correspond to some letters maybe in the
So
sign.
it's not the alphabet because that first word would be CFGHB, which isn't a word.
No,
but-
but if we look at the 3 would be the R, 6 would be
Oh, yes,
an A,
yeah.
and then a V, an E, but then the 2 would be an O. So that kind of it looked like it might have started to spell raven, but then the last letter is an O. So that doesn't. But it's close. So
Yeah. So if
Oh!
we
Who is-
we think
Who is writing that?
that's me. So
Oh.
if we
Obviously, Ryan, although Brass would not be able to understand this, please feel free to get involved, Ryan.
I'm here, I'm doodling.
that should be a
Good.
T.
Can I?
Good.
I meant that to be a T over the 9 there.
so the 6 would be an A, not an.
The 6 would be an O.
No, it'd be an A. I'm writing on it.
Oh.
You can right click on.
Oh
each
yes, because that'd
shape
be
and-
at.
But then this would be an O, which doesn't quite. The 2 doesn't quite match up.
Guys, you
with
can right click on a
that.
stroke
Unless
and
it
delete
means, yeah.
So if it's at the,
I mean that's probably Raven, but then well if 2 is an E, then 2 can't be an O.
Oh, I see what you're doing. Oh, I'm silly. Oh, nice,
But
silly.
the
Pebble
E
isn't,
in the like where did you how because number 2 because
but
2
that's very nice.
MO.
so I was just because initially I was thinking 69 and 912 would be of the, but actually that should be at the, because the 9 is
Yeah.
the same,
But is the 2? How is the 2 an E?
because that's the last letter in.
This doesn't make
The.
any sense because
So
this
unless-
is
No, I know,
unless-
but
yeah.
it's corresponding to like Morgrave Manor. So like the R is the 3rd letter in Morgrave, so that's why 3 is an R, potentially. And then the 6th letter is an A, the 7th letter is a V, the 8th letter is an E, the 2nd letter is an O. You might still be right with the at, that would make sense, but I don't know how it Yeah, but I mean this may be Raven.
Wait.
That would make
But
sense.
would you open a raven?
There's a statue of a raven, right?
Oh, that's a good
Don't
point.
break it.
Well, hold on. We don't know if we need to break it. It might be quite old.
Is Braz gonna go break the raven?
Musk will immediately run towards the raven statue.
So while you guys are still pondering
before
this, like,
we clarify, before we do this,
Oh no.
as we know, Musk can from time to time be zoologically challenged.
Lol.
You tell, you know which one's the raven, which one's the wolf.
I would think these are sort of animals. You're from a swamp. But you have traveled. I think the thing is, you're clear on what a wolf is. I don't know if you know what a raven is, but you know what a bird is. So I think you know what is a wolf. So
they're not wolf.
With elimination, they're not wolf basically. So we'll say yes. But anyway, so while you guys are trying to solve this puzzle, I imagine you got a pen and paper out and you're doodling and stuff like this. Brass, you're going to charge off to break the raven.
Musk is going to use his head.
Beautiful.
Okay, and so you like basically climbing up this thing and going to headbutt the thing. Is that the plan?
Fantastic.
It's gonna
It's hurt.
more of like a sort of shoulder barge, as if trying to break down a door.
Sure. So you climb up the pole and you shoulder barge in it. Make me an attack roll. This will be using your unarmed strike.
Unarmed strike. We got a 9.
9. As you go to shoulder barge this raven, and this raven is very well embedded into this pillar. So you just kind of, and it's awkward because you're kind of climbing on the thing you're trying to do it. You don't get a very good hit on this raven.
Braska's just going to keep going. He's going to be
Sure.
relentlessly attacking it until somebody makes him stop.
Sure. I mean, someone else can jump in at any point, but for the moment we'll stick with Brass. But you've already tried shoulder barging, so I'm going to require you to do something slightly different. It's still going to be an arm strike, I just need you to describe me something different.
Gonna stab his boomerang into the raven and sort of crowbar it.
Amazing.
Lovely.
Okay, in that case, make an attack with Dragon Fang.
23 that time.
23?
Yeah.
Okay, so basically, you kind of look at this and like that didn't work. But you look at it, like, it's a bird. It's got quite thin legs. You're like, you get the boomerang in between it, and you kind of like wrench it this way, and you do hear a crack as the legs of the bird snap, and the thing just tumbles to the ground and hits the path like a. Poof.
Oh dear.
It now hits.
Let's
the
go
pathway.
jump down and pick it up and go, a clue!
As you pick it up, Brask, there is a rattle inside it.
Oh!
And this is not
Actual
as heavy
glue.
as you would expect it to be.
Smash it on the ground.
You just spike it onto the ground.
Brask, what did you?
You watch as this shatters like almost like a clay pot. This is actually clearly a hollow thing. And there is a key inside it.
Ah!
No.
What do
wait,
we
I
do
need
with
to-
this?
Oh, Brask it's the door. The door needs a key.
I don't understand.
That's the key
Oh,
for the
sorry.
door.
Brask is gonna just like, he's gonna start moving towards the door, then take a second and be like, I did it.
Huh?
Braska's genius.
Yeah, we did it as a team. You did that. You found it, and we gave you helped you with the clue. We worked together.
Can you
Well, good
smash
job,
the wolf?
Brask.
You smash the wolf and see if there are any bonus coins?
Oh, great idea. And then I'll throw the key at them
Oh.
and then start
Oh,
attacking
goes
the other
for a key.
statue.
Oh, he was like, oh, the key.
Who are you throwing at, Brask?
I guess to Tali because she was.
Oh,
Yeah, Tali, make me a
Okay.
dexterity check.
Okay, I
oh
can
no, oh no. This is
Alright.
like a...
just a flat dex.
Yeah, just flat dex.
16.
Oh, okay,
16,
that's
okay.
fine. Thank you.
You were not expecting Brass to throw his key at you. It sort of just chucks it at you quickly. You panic, and you sort of miss the first time, and it kind of bounces off some of your armor, and it's about to go flying into the brambles, but you quickly just grab it before it does,
Oh my god.
and you now have the key in
Yes.
hand. Brass, you go up and climb the the other pillar up towards the wolf statue. Make me a attack roll.
Okay.
Actually, you're going to be using Dragon Fang again, I presume, so. With Dragon Fang.
15 that time.
15. This one is harder. Unlike the bird who has spindly legs, this one is like on all fours and kind of they're much more stronger things. You get harder to find perches, and you're not able to do it.
Ah, shit. Can you
You
check?
don't want to be destroying property.
Oh yes, we do.
I mean, it's your family, so it's up to you. But I'm just saying she might be mad.
Brask,
It's your
Brask.
choice.
Okay, I'm gonna, just for the fun of it, I'm gonna cast Eldritch Blast on the
Oh no.
statue and try and crack it.
Roll an attack roll, please.
Fucking
I
hell.
don't.
I would
why
just
am
like to
not
check.
using
Am I
the
still up there? Pretty sure I'm still up there.
Yeah, you're still up there, so if she rolls badly, you're getting hit.
Ooh.
Oh no!
Also,
No. But in this moment, Brask is into it. He's
What
like,
if it's-
yeah, do it!
what if it's actually Spud? No! Pebble is losing his shit. And also,
I think we'll be fine. Eldritch Blast.
Sure.
Alia's just sort of standing
I had
back.
24.
24, excellent. Roll damage.
What?
Marsh is
How Brask dies.
8.
8 points of damage. Brask, you're there like trying to crowbar this thing, and as you do, there is this like pulsating bolt of electricity that just hits the statue, and you watch as it kind of like bisects it, as you watch as
Wow,
half of it just
wow,
crumbles the
just
dust, and you realize that this was a solid statue, and Christina has just blown a chunk of it off. There is now like half of Wolf statue there.
Never mind.
Yeah, Brask is
Okay.
like, I guess, like hanging by a single claw now because of that. And he just goes, whoa! He's just having a great time.
I love Brask.
Excellent bonding for Brask and Christina. We've not had that in a while.
A
Yeah.
little bit
Yeah.
of catharticism for the group, which is
Yeah,
nice.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's good.
Tali, you have the key.
Yeah, Talia's just gonna sort of awkwardly excuse me. Gonna
Off stream, I'm gonna
Switch to the
figure out the
door.
puzzle. Yeah.
gonna put the key in the door and
Key in the door. When you touch the key to the door, there is this kind of this ripple of magic that kind of washes over the door and the building. The actual building itself seems to almost as a ripple.
Ooh. Matrix.
You watch as, following it in a wake, almost as in like a second ripple, there is this kind of fizzling energy. As you watch as that darkened black oak
Oh, I knew
door
it.
starts to fizzle and burn away, and there is this kind of bright,
I knew it.
colourful mahogany wood door appears, and as this burns outwards, you watch as the mossy stone is replaced with this beautifully
Marble.
plastered brickwork. It spreads down into the gardens, and suddenly those gnarled branches and roots just turns into this beautiful bed of flowers. And you
Oh.
watch as this kind of just forms over.
Right.
It hits the windows, and the drapes are now open. There is this beautiful like dining hall inside. You can see light and candles and stuff like that, and it kind of just forms around the entirety of this courtyard until you are standing in this beautiful, pristine garden. And the one most important change you see in this place is the sign has completely changed what it says. Morgrave Manor, Academy for Wayward Arcanists.
Hey.
Can we go inside now?
You
Uh,
turn the door opens up, and you walk inside. I think
Right,
that's where we'll
I-
take our break.
Yes. Very
Yeah.
top. Oh, I love this. Yeah.
The Academy for Wayward
Wayward Arcanists.
Arcanists.
Who's the Professor X?
What a nice little plot twist. I mean, Christina's still on the warpath for
Fantastic.
many reasons, but
Yeah, well, Pebble too.
I think that's a really nice twist.
It is very nice.
I'm glad Verity does.
And it didn't
And,
turn out to be something
100
that tries to kill us.
Yeah. And also, 100% this place is the X Mansion, so good work.
Hey.
Yeah!
Dude.
Adam, I don't want you to tell us what the actual code was because I know that we didn't actually solve
I'm
the
gonna solve
the
it.
riddle.
So close.
Because I don't think that first word's Raven.
I think it's.
'Cause I don't think that works for the rest of it.
I'll tell you what, we'll do
But I think
something.
it doesn't work. But I
Okay.
do think
I
that's what
will-
Raven. I, just don't
I
know
will give
why.
everyone until the end of the break to try and figure out what this
Oh
is.
no!
Right,
Oh.
yes,
It's not
let's
gonna
fucking
happen.
And then
do
I
it.
will reveal the answer. Alright, I'll do it. Tell you what, end of the
Is
stream.
it
At the end of the stream,
Open
I will
your-
reveal the answer.
open the raven in the...
Path. The last word could be path, but I don't know why. Like the numbers
Yeah.
don't match up to
Ooh.
what I
Guys,
think it
If
says.
it was,
Like I know what it could. The writing could be. I just don't know how that connects to the numbers.
The important thing is you
No,
solve
it
the puzzle
can't be-
regardless.
can be in the. What if it was in?
Anyway, right,
Yeah.
break. So we'll be back at, let's make it 25?
25.
25.
Yeah.
See you in.
Enter into Morgrave
see you in
Manor. Academy for Wayward Arcanists.
See you at 25 past. Bye.
In a bit.
Goodbye now.
Bye.
And we're back. So,
Hey.
you guys push open the door to Morgrave Manor, and it just occurred to me, and I should have done this over the break, is I'm just going to change the music to something a bit
Ooh.
more pleasant now.
Hey.
Instead of my dark and dangerous playlist,
Neat.
we'll go back to the calm civilization one.
Yeah.
So you enter into this reception vestibule, as I described before. Tali, you can see now, unlike when you looked through the keyhole, the carpets are vibrant and full of colour. There is that grand staircase that leads up, but it's no longer crashed in the middle. It goes all the way up into a landing on a secondary floor. You see like artwork on the walls. There is the kind of like decorative vases with flowers in them, and then kind of tucked away to the side, there is this lovely wooden like reception desk. There is a statue of a statue bust.
Yeah.
There's a bust on the
Statue of a bust.
statue of a masculine figure. It looks to be a elvish character like
Oh.
Christina, but you see they have this kind of slicked back hair clearly and like a pencil thin mustache,
Oh.
obviously carved
them.
into this kind of grey facade. The desk itself has this red tome on it, which you can just about see says visitor book, and then there is a brass bell next to it.
I'm dinging the bell, going ding 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 ding.
Can Tali see? Because Tali heard a voice. Can
Yes.
Tali just like because she knows that there is someone
Mhm.
that's nearby-ish? Can I see?
Yeah, roll me a perception check.
As we enter. Hold on a moment. Perception. 20.
20.
Hmm.
No,
As you sort of scan around, you see there's a couple of like a handful of doors sort of leading off into other rooms. That is clearly a room that connects into many others. You don't immediately see anyone who could talk to you. Christina, as you ding the bell, kind of aggressively and I imagine excessively, ding, 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 there is a voice that emanates from the bust.
Oh.
Welcome, small and mighty. We have been awaiting you. It is a pleasure to finally have you arrive. Tali, you recognise this is the exact same voice you
okay.
heard whisper.
Oh, neat.
I
I am
think
the
somebody's in
steward-
the bust.
Maybe. I am the steward of Morgrave Manor, and it is a pleasure to finally have you here.
Yeah, I'm. Skip the pleasantries. Get this band off, my friends, please. Thank you.
Oh, okay, I
Not
don't
thank
wanna
you,
be
and not
rude.
please. Just please, just do it.
Oui, of course. I will inform the madame that you have arrived, and if you in the meantime could just fill out the visitor book, that would be wonderful. And as I say, I will inform the madame that you have arrived.
I'm gonna throw the bell and I'm not messing around
Oh my
here.
god. Christina, just be normal. It's fine.
But I'm off on one. I'm
Yeah.
off on one.
Tali's gonna start filling out for the group.
Yes.
Just quietly,
You
doesn't
see,
say
yeah.
anything. Just just takes the book to one side, gets the pen, starts writing.
Yeah.
You see, this is an old tome that has been filled out over
Like-
the years.
Yep.
It is, well, it is an old tome and it existed for many years, and you can see there are dates in it. But you don't think, if you quickly skim through it, you don't think this would have been a book for when this was if this was ever a sanatorium, this doesn't seem to line up. There are sporadic visitors in here. It goes weeks without visitors. And then there's 2 visitors, and then it goes weeks without visitors.
Is there anybody in here name-wise that Tali would recognize?
Ooh.
Roll me an investigation check.
Just while I'm filling it out, having a little flick through. 17.
17. You don't see any names you recognize, but skimming through it, going a little ways back, you do start to see some names in it. You see that there are 2 who arrived together at the same time. There's a Gabrielius Ilharrow and a Rachel Ilharrow. There's a name a few days later that's called Hespia. The one that stands out to you, which is Baron Hamish Dawncaster. But yeah, you kind of flick through it. There's one where there is just a name written in kind of very blocky capital that just says Chunk.
Oh. Wait.
Not Chonk, but Chunk. But very
nice.
close. You see those names kind of in it, and there was about maybe they kind of scatter over a period of 6 to 3 months ago. Those names appeared. But beyond that, there is almost nothing. Going back a couple of years, you eventually see a name of Mr. Green.
Okay.
But there is very sporadic people.
Who's like the first name?
Um, going back through the book.
Yesperoth!
I'm just check. Gotta check, right?
Hello.
Gotta check.
In this book, it seems like this book, maybe there are books for different years. This book, it seems Mr. Green is the earliest person on it. But it goes almost like 6 months with no one apart from Mr. Green. And he arrived maybe 7 months ago or so.
Are there like visitors' books tend to have like time arrive and time left?
Yeah.
Are there time left for everybody? Do people leave?
You see is actually with Mr. Green, you see that actually kind of comes in and out several times.
Mm.
The other names that have not left. Time in and they have not left.
Like months ago, and they are still here after months.
Seemingly, yes.
Interesting.
Okay, but some people have left. Like Mr. Green's come and
Mr. Green has come and gone.
Okay.
So that's good.
Fine.
The
That's
other names
assuring.
I mentioned earlier, they don't see.
Yeah.
At least you can't spot it. That doesn't necessarily mean they haven't left. It just means they haven't ever checked out, which maybe they just haven't checked out. But
true.
But again, very sparsely filled out. You obviously don't see any name of Morgrave or Madam Morgrave in there, but you imagine that's because, they are the Madam. Probably don't need to. While you are now come back to your part and start filling out, from the room, like directly to the north of the room you're in, you hear this kind of shrill squeak, almost like, "Ah, my darling!" And you hear a door burst open, and you see this about 4'8" woman. This kind of like curly, almost like candy floss pink hair, kind of curled up, but tied in like a headscarf. Bright, colourful like shawls and clothing. Like too many bangles on the arms that just jangle as this woman is running, arms outstretched towards you, Christina. This is your grandmother. This is Eretha Christmas. She's like, "My darling, you finally made it!" And she's running along towards you. Like I said, 4'8", way shorter than you, fairly rotund woman. And she's running along just like towards you.
I'm gonna add in some headcanon and say we're wearing matching kaftans.
Absolutely.
Hey.
Yes.
Lovely.
Then you see the rest of you, who Christina is probably absorbed by the shock of seeing your grandmother. You see kind of like slinking out of the same room, a stick-thin woman, bone-white skinned, long black hair, this kind of black and blue dress that kind of form fits to her, about 7 foot tall.
All right.
The best way I can describe this woman.
What colour was the robe? Sorry. What colour was the robe?
Black and blue.
No robe, dress. Black and blue.
Okay.
Black and blue
Chunk.
dress. It's just chunk. No, you see. The best way to describe this, if you took like Morticia Adams and Quella DeVille and kind of merged the two of them. This is who you see emerging with one of those like long stick for a cigarette on the end emerging. You can only imagine this is Madam Morgrave. But yes, Eretha, your grandmother, takes you in her arms and gives you this big hug. It's like, "Oh, you finally made it! Oh, I knew you'd get here!" And gives you this big hug. Like, she tries to lift you off the floor, but clearly can't because she's way smaller than you.
Yeah, she's at my knees, I imagine.
Pretty much.
Probably just like shrinks back into the wall.
Yes. You see this cold chill cutting through this kind of warmth embrace as Madame Morgrave goes, "Yes, well, you did take your time, didn't you?" And takes a long drag of this cigarette thing.
Cigarette goes like...
Yeah. All in one. She then takes it away, puts another one in it.
I've been kind of a bit busy. Some things. Societies. And trains. And killing people. Yes, I can kill... Sorry, Grandma, I've now killed people.
She kind of
We'll
like
explain later.
puts her arms on your shoulders like, "It's okay, dear. It's okay. It's okay. It's it'll work. I'll explain it all to you in a moment."
I don't think it's okay, actually.
Chad's gonna be like, just to confirm, she's not killed someone. I killed that person. She's absolutely fine. Don't worry.
I don't need your manipulating right now. You are getting this band off my friend. Now, I do not need blackmailing to be brought somewhere. Thank you very much. Not thank you very much. Stop being more
You
polite.
assume you're gesturing towards Madame
Yeah.
Morgrave when you say
I love
that. You see she cocks like a curious eye, one of these like very fine, clearly plucked eyebrow, kind of cocks eye towards you, Pebble, and like, interesting. A hobgoblin. Theodore didn't tell me that. And she kind of like she makes her way towards you, and it's interesting the way as she moves. It seems like she glides across the
She's
floor.
like,
Like, you don't see under the dress.
Yeah.
There doesn't seem to be any movement of legs. So she's just this 7-foot stick-thing woman, just kind of moves towards.
Got
you.
wheels.
She no
Yeah.
clips. She no clips.
Right.
throughout.
Basically, no clips.
Yeah,
She's
like-
standing on a Roomba
Yeah.
and just comes towards you.
Sorry.
And this woman, like you yourself, are I think under 5 foot. You're similar height to Christina's grandmother.
grandma.
So this woman just towers over you, looks down at you, is like, "May I see that arm, please?"
Yeah, which one is it, left or right? Well, yeah,
It's your
yes.
left arm.
Tali
takes
is like
it.
intently watching
Yeah.
her.
Sorry, I
There's,
mean,
there's this kind of deep sign of her, like, and she looks at the sign. You see on there's like a plinth, and you see a statue of a raven again. It's like, "Oh, Arkmedön, this is not what I meant." You watch as she takes a drag of the cigarette again, and just then touches the edge of it to your arm,
Cool.
and you watch as the band just dissolves.
But my arm is still like.
And as this dissolves, the arm retains its normal color. And you would expect, like, the amount of pressure that's been on your arm, when it would have released, you were expecting it to hurt. All pain, all feeling just immediately disappears.
I go like.
She takes a long drag of cigarette. A powerful illusion only. You were under no harm.
But I felt the.
She looks again
you
to the
joking?
statue. She looks again to the statue, she's like, "Arkmedön, we will have words about this. This is not what I meant."
Thank you, madam. Much
You're
appreciated.
welcome, Pebble.
If it's an illusion, why did I feel pain though?
A very powerful illusion can lead you to believe something is real. The pain was caused by it, I believe. Arkmedön is a stressful creature by nature, and it seems that they dramatically mistook my words. I asked them to hurry you along, only, as I say.
Oh, so this is all just a misunderstanding. All the stress, all the worry, all the crap we've had to deal with, none of it's real. So you could, like, get me here to have a quick chat and a quick powwow. Oh, family reunion and everything. I'm not having it. Like, you can't just... As this is...
Eretha kind of goes, like, dearie, please, let me... let's go to the sitting room and let's have a drink and I can explain everything to you.
As Chrissy is going on...
Go on,
As
Karen.
Chrissy is going on this rant, like, magic is just sort of out of control, and she's gonna cast Hunger of Hadar.
Oh God.
Because that's just something I wanted to do for ages.
Yeah, okay. Describe to me what this looks like.
So
In your mind, what does this spell look like as you cast this?
it's a wind is sort of whirling around Christina, and there's just above her is a kind of speck of black sort of materializes and slowly opens up above her, sort of creating this sort of whirlwind.
You see this kind of whirlwind, almost like black hole kind of start to form, like bolts of lightning coming off of this above Christina as she is clearly fuming, and it just grows, and you watch as it's about to encompass part of the room, some of the furniture, even you guys. And you watch as Eretha puts her hands up, this kind of swirling pink magic comes around it, and you watch as a bubble forms around this, and then just goes, just pops back and it's like, "Please, dearie, it will be okay. Let me give you a chance to explain it all to you. Come, let's have a drink. Sit in the sitting room."
Storm through.
Yeah, I imagine you do.
And Tali, because Madame Morgrave is kind of
Yes.
spooky looking, right?
Yeah,
Can
absolutely.
Tali just quick vibe check on how Tali feels about her? Because Tali has a particular kind of magic, and she doesn't like particular kinds of magic for plot reasons. Just get a feeling. Is this lady just straight up evil?
Very
Like,
much. These two characters is like if the fairy godmother from Cinderella and Morticia Adams were sisters. It's basically who these two
Yes.
characters are. Yes, roll me an insight check.
But Morticia is
Roll a
not
vibe
evil,
check.
you know.
Vibe check, yeah,
And
absolutely.
I can use the inspiration like
If you want to.
after I roll, right?
Yeah, absolutely. If you don't like the roll, you can use that.
Insight. A 16's pretty good.
Seems pretty good. So far, apart from watching her like dispel the magic on Pebble's arm, you've not seen her do any kind of magic yet, and that magic is fairly neutral. Vibe-wise, yeah, she screams.
Well, didn't the grandmother do the not Madame Morgrave?
Yeah, so who are you trying to get vibe check on?
Madame Morgrave, very specific.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Well, no, Madame Morgrave dispelled the hunger of Hadar.
Was the pink?
Yes, whereas Madame Morgrave dispelled the thing on Pebble's arm.
Yeah, Madame Morgrave. Is what you just said. Madame Morgrave twice, right?
Sorry.
There are two people.
just-
There's the pink lady who's all nice
Yeah.
and happy and did the pink bubble. That's great. She's
Yeah.
fine. Don't care.
Nah.
Madame Morgrave, the scary
Yeah.
lady, vibe
Yeah.
check.
Yeah, but I'm saying she's only dispelled the thing on Pebble's arm.
Sure,
so-
but like still.
But the point, that's all I'm
Like
trying to
I'm
say.
magic. Maybe she's magic.
Yeah. You get a very strong sense of magic from this woman, and with a 16, despite this kind of fearsome sort of appearance, you don't inherently get anything like malicious from her. There is this kind of cool, cold, emotionless kind of response to the situation.
She's just uptight.
You might think she's gonna, very much as a Creador once threatened, pluck a Creador right now because she's very angry at a Creador. But even though you can tell she has this sort of anger towards a Creador, it is very dull and muted. Yeah, she is kind of stony faced in complexion. You can't get a lot from her right now, which I imagine, especially Tali in your nighttime form, makes things worse.
Oh boy.
There is no clear vibe either way here. This is just, she is clearly a powerful woman, but there is no sense yet of her. Although, I'll tell you that, a nugget that kind of sticks with you is that in a world that hates magic so much, to be someone who maybe runs a place that looks after or trains people in magic, there must be some good there, you'd think.
Yeah.
But, anyway,
Yeah.
Christina, you storm off into this sitting room, which is the room directly ahead of you. Despite your anger, your grandmother basically is just like jollily skips after you, and she's clearly happy to see. She's like, "Oh, you look well, and oh, you're still wearing the caftan. Oh, it's wonderful." Like she's trying to fuss over you, despite the fact you're probably like shrugging her off. I imagine.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm also going to add, Nan, you're not off the hook either.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I like your friends, and she just continues like you throw this at her and it just bounces off of her. You'll enter into this lovely sitting room. You see these kind of beautiful armchairs. They are completely mismatched. Like one is like a leather one is one of those kind of embroidered ones. Like beautiful. There is a fireplace here. It's crackling, and you can see that it opens out. There's some like glass, like bay windows practically that opens out into a large garden. And interestingly enough, there is some commotion happening out in the garden. You can see, despite being nighttime and it was raining at the front entrance, out the back entrance, it looks like it's daytime and it's sunny. The sky itself looks dark. It looks almost as if, you know when you have like a football pitch that has floodlights? This garden, the grounds at least, are illuminated by bright sunlight, despite the fact there are no clear light sources and the sky is still clearly blackened. You can see the rain still pouring down. And you see there are about 8 individuals out in the garden, and there seems to be a fight happening. You see there is these 3, like what appears to be wooden like mannequins. One's holding a spear, and 2 of them have these wooden swords, and they seem to be fighting this other group. And you see this 5 other mismatch of individuals. You see that there is this blonde-haired human wearing a headband and his golden armor of blue, who has this spear and a shield and is like fending off one of them. You watch as this kind of robed, wizardly-looking half-elvish is wearing and casting these kind of intricate spells. There's another being who sort of swoops over the top of this. This, it's clearly a harpy, this feathered woman with these wings coming out of her back. It's swooping over this battlefield and just sort of slinging magic as they go.
Nice.
Another Pyro just appears from invisibility and just puts a dagger into one of these guys, these wooden mannequins. And then there is this large being. They look like a statue where all the features have been worn off. You see them having this like leather bandolier, and they have this huge, like basically a chonk, this like arbalast style sized crossbow, and they just like walk around going "Kaboo! Kaboo!" and just shooting these mannequins as there's some sort of sparring match going on outside.
Neat.
But you'll make your way into the sitting room, and you see all the chairs pretty much are turned to face this spectacle in the garden. As you kind of come in, I'm going to imagine, Christina, you probably don't see. I imagine you almost like storm and walk around. But you see Aerith kind of pushes herself into an armchair.
I do an investigation check for the strongest spirit I can find.
Yeah, roll me an investigation check.
12.
12. You look around the room like, I'm gonna find some alcohol. Like you're like in like rebellious teen phase, especially with your grandmother here. You're like, I'll find some alcohol, and you are very disappointed to find that the only things in this room, the walls almost lined with bookcases. Some of them have books tied up, but then some of them have scrolls in them, like one of those old kind of like Greek-style scroll cases. Just cover the room. You don't see any spirits. You do see there's a small little saucer with like tea on it and stuff like that. And as you're kind of storming around, just like Madame Morgrave goes, if any of you would like any kind of teas, the kitchen is well stocked. The steward would be happy to provide anything you desire.
Irish coffee. Long day.
Ask for a gnomish coffee.
Gnomish. I like that.
You can see your grandmother just like, and Madame Morgrave's like, steward, please arrange for one gnomish coffee, please, for the young Christina. Anyone else? Your grandmother looks like she goes in a bit of a huff, and just like as you were just cut across by your aunt, a great aunt.
So this is probably the nicest place that we've been in so far.
100%.
So
it's not as like fancy as like your home estate.
No, but this is sort of the
But
closest.
it's close, yeah.
So this is Chad has been sort of he's been quite quiet since we got in. Part of him, he's still thinking about trying to figure out what the like in his mind is like, what are those numbers?
Yeah, same. Same. Pebble.
Yeah, but these
Is that Chad or is that Will?
well, it's both. It's both. But Chad is probably sort of noticeably very sort of quietly just comfortable, where he's sort of looking around sort of approvingly at like, yeah, this is a bit more my speed, and it's like
Yeah, and like Madame Morgrave clocks out and is like, I suppose you'd probably prefer a glass of wine, honestly, wouldn't you, Chadronethius?
Oh yeah.
How does she know?
Okay. Have you gotten the Riverdanian or Vatine wine?
Of course, we only have Riverdanian. The teen, He thinks someone's like, steward, do we have any 13 wine? She's like, I will check it with the cellar, madame.
Whatever
you hear
got,
you hear the steward sort of like talking as if they're going somewhere.
Yeah,
in the sitting room, you see there is another bust of the steward.
Right.
And like they talk as if they're going somewhere, but then the bus doesn't do anything or move.
So
But the voice
everywhere.
seems to disappear.
That's kind of nice.
Yeah.
Anything else? Anyone else?
Pebble. What would Pebble drink? What would Pebble drink?
I mean, you're from a farm town. Mead, maybe, or just some cider, I imagine.
Yeah. Mead, like mead. No, Pebble doesn't sound like that. I tried mead the other day. It was good.
What does Pebble want though?
Yeah.
Right now, what does Pebble want?
A little cider, or no. Pebble is feeling, like, oh, okay, he needs to calm the fuck down. Like his vibes need to calm down. It's not a party vibe at all. It's just like maybe it's just like a tea, like I don't know, something.
Tea.
Something like something cheap, like, because Pebble doesn't know about exquisite.
Sure.
Exquisite.
Some like
not
maybe
nettle
cheap, like,
tea or something weird.
an
Something
earthy
like
tea,
very
yeah.
horrible.
We could do an earthy tea. We have plenty. Headspirit is quite a fan of that herself, so we've made sure to stock up.
Thank you.
Steward, a nettle tea as well, please. Then Madame Morgrave gestures towards both Brask and Tarly equally. It's like, and anything for yourselves?
No, I'm
Of course.
And like Tali doesn't sit down; she's standing. She's
That
not.
is a lot.
But also, I do want to vibe check because you said there was a harpy, right?
Yes, there's a harpy out
How
in the
does
garden.
Tali feel about harpy?
Roll me
can I
a
just,
history or arcana check, please.
or a religion check.
Yeah, or religion check. Why not? I'll let you do what you're doing.
Oopsies.
While you're doing
I can
that,
do an
Ross.
arcana check though.
Yeah, Ross, are you requesting any food, drink, water,
Bugs.
etc.?
Yeah, so as Talia is like politely saying no, Brask is just gonna stomp right past, and he's gonna like sit. Like imagine like a sort of a 5-year-old sitting too close to the TV.
Yeah.
That's him up against this
Ah.
window watching all the
Aw.
spider on the side. So he's
Amazing.
gonna sit down, cross-legged on the floor. Who cares about all these chairs?
Yeah.
And he's just gonna start listing all his favorite foods. So he's gonna be like, meat and potatoes and beer and rootweed and everything.
Yeah, you spend a moment, and then Madame Morgan was like, "Did you catch all of that, steward?" I was like, yes, we will see what we got left in the stocks."
Oh my god.
Yes. You guys all settle into the room.
I rolled, by the way. I did roll a 4,
yes,
but
sorry.
I think I might just say let's go. Let's just use my inspiration token. Let's
Sure.
just nat 20 for a vibe check on the people outside, but probably specifically the harpy
Sure.
Yeah.
flying around.
Harpies. We'll start with the harpy. We'll do all of it, but we'll start with the harpy. What you know of harpies is that they are kind of like most sort of more monstrous creatures, misrepresented in many places.
Mhm.
They're often talked and demonized as being these creatures who,
Mhm.
like, they snatch children as they kind of travel on the road and things
Wow.
like this. But realistically, they are just a creature like any other.
But I meant more like what is
Human-
the abbey about?
Yeah, this is what I'm about to
Yeah,
come
okay,
to.
okay.
Human civilizations tend to have a antagonistic view to anything that isn't them. This is largely promoted by the Abbey as an attitude of a sort of us and them attitude. There are obviously a few peoples they're happy with, gnomes and dwarves. Elvish get a bit wibbly wobbly,
Oh.
depending on. But basically, as always, the Abbey of civilization, like the folk who are civilized, those who live in towns and villages. The thing about harpies is that they are naturally suited to living in high up places, mountaintops, canopies of forests, etc. As a result of that, they don't need to live in civilization, as they have their own spaces above everyone else's. This makes the Abbey cautious of them and distrusting of them.
Yeah.
But you, Tali, as always, you question everything the Abbey has taught you in its time, and you know, the Abbey also says that hobgoblins are horrible little monsters and they should be killed immediately on sight.
Oh, really?
You know, Pebble very much isn't that, and you have seen
I
that
didn't know
several
this.
times in your kind of adventure. Like, what you've been taught is clearly not the truth. And so, in terms of this particular person,
Feeling
you
awkward
have-
because I have basically been brought up with a particular sort of.
and you're
should
questioning
have,
all
but
of it.
Yeah.
But you do know that the Harpies, generally speaking, they're quite isolationists. They tend to stick to their clans. They don't tend to find their ways into cities. So to see one here is very unusual.
Mm.
In terms of the group altogether, as you're watching this, and this is kind of brass sake as well, they seem to be very well coordinated.
Oh.
And you can kind of hear yelling from this, the human, the blonde-haired one, who's like, "Ha ha! Squad! Quickly! Form up! Get them in a line!" And you watch as, like, the statue sort of shoots one with his crossbow and it knocks one in line. You watch as the wizardly one kind of casts his spell, as you kind of watch his grey, almost like clockwork energy comes. And you watch as one of these mannequins is almost like rewound in time to the point where it's in line. And then this harpy just swoops down and kicks one and puts them in a line. And then you watch as this character, who you can only imagine is Baron Hamish Dawncaster.
Mhm.
It's like, "That's it, squad! Now, misfits, on me!" And he just raises his spear into the sky. And you watch as a lightning bolt crashes into his spear. He then turns it and goes and throws a lightning bolt down this line, hitting all of these mannequins in a row. The spear then embeds itself in the grass, and a moment later it goes, and he just goes and catches it. You watch as the 3 mannequins just lay on the floor, smouldering ruins. It's like, "Yes! Yeah, misfits! Yeah! Good work! Good work!"
But I did that. Tali hears this and she looks at Chad.
Yeah.
This guy looks at Chad.
Yes.
She
This is
doesn't
very
say
much,
anything, but she's just like, what the?
very much someone
that's
cut
fun.
from a very
Yeah.
similar cloth.
Mm.
Your drinks and food arrive. A whole platter is brought to you, Brask,
Oh.
as you watch. You watch as outside these mannequins eventually get back up and start again. They go again, another sort of training routine or whatever is happening. And Eretha kind of pushes her armchair ever so slightly towards you, Christina. Did you take a seat or were you sort of standing?
Yeah, but specifically my feet are on the chair.
Excellent. She sees that and is like, I mean, it's not my furniture, so I won't tell. But she does tries to put a hand on yours. I promise you I will explain everything in just a moment, but if you will forgive an old woman being a little cryptic for a moment longer, I have a question for you.
Sure.
Your travels so far, what have you discovered about this? And she just points to your amulet, the amulet where Dotho comes from, that sort of blue glass like bead with water inside, which, as far as you're aware, is a artifact of your family. And when you grabbed it, it unlocked your magic. And she just asked, what have you learned about it so far?
Do you want to know?
Well, when I gave it to your magic, it just started to awaken. I'm interested in what you have discovered about it and yourself since that time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm. Don't know.
If you want, like, you can obviously explain to her things out of character. You can say, like, the place you go to inside it, Dotho, obviously, the magic you've been able to cast with it. You can say those sort of things if you want.
Yeah.
And we can just sort of brush over explaining it.
Christina's feeling more cynical.
Mhm.
Obviously, the magic has hurt people.
Mhm.
It's killed people. Just now, she's getting angry. It's like it could have ended pretty badly.
Yeah.
It's more of like I just want to give a short answer of like I'm a liability.
Oh.
If you let her grab your hand, she kind of squeezes it tightly and like, that is not true, my darling. You just need a safe place to learn about your magic and you can do with it, and I'm hoping this place will be that. But first, let me explain what this is. And she sort of just gently sort of takes the amulet and just sort of lifts it up. This is a very powerful artifact. It was created at the dawn of time, but has been dormant for nearly as long. You all hear this, by the way. She's talking quite softly.
It's like the
but you
dawn
are
of
all
time.
Yeah.
I'm listening.
What?
Yeah. It's been dormant for nearly as long, waiting for someone to rekindle the power within it. Someone worthy of it. And she gives your hand a squeeze again. And as I hope you have seen, my darling, the person is you. Dotho chose you for a reason. And yes, the power within it and grants you is a little unwieldy at times. Dotho only would have chosen you because you have a good heart. This object, its real name is the Door of the Hierophant's Oasis, or Dotho for short.
Hey.
It is one of 7 similar artifacts. All of them are known as the Genesis Relics. You have hopefully seen that you can travel within it to the Hierophant's Oasis, where you will see a small island and things are there, but let me show you something else that it can do. She sort of looks around the room to Tali, you're still standing, so she's like, dearie, would you mind grabbing me a book from the shelf, please? As she sort of gestures to any shelf.
Any book?
Any will do.
Sure. Tali just goes to the nearest
Yeah.
bookshelf and takes just a book.
Yeah. It's some book on like arcane sigils and stuff like you don't really look at too closely. And you bring it over to Aerith, and she sort of plumps it down on her lap, and she goes, Christina, hold your amulet in the palm of your hand, and sort of hold it over the book. And as you do, it's like you watch as the gem glows brightly, and this kind of bluish light kind of just shoots down from it over the book, and you watch as this kind of like ghostly copy of the book just rises out and then just shrinks into the crystal. Next time you travel into the amulet, you will find a copy of that book now exists in the Hierophant's Oasis, waiting for you there, neatly tucked into a bookcase. And every other tome or scroll you copy in the same way will be there waiting for you. This is a tool to build knowledge. You can grow your own library as effect. Just out of character, Verity. If you do decide to multi-class into wizard as we've described, this means that your amulet can act as your spell book for your wizard class. As any spell or spell book that you absorb into it can be used for you to then prepare spells from. So if you do go down that route, that's something else you can do with it. She kind of smiles and as you kind of contemplate that. I imagine there's kind of almost a motionless response for you, Christina, as this isn't really answering all your questions and stuff like that. She kind of pauses for a moment and goes, now for an actual answer about why I sent you here. I wanted you to come here because it's, as I say, a safe place for you to learn and discover your magic. But the reason I didn't send you directly to this place, this facility, is because I wanted you to understand on your own the magic that has awakened within you and the amulet. But also to face and understand the mistrust arcanists deal with outside of our home and to find kindred souls to bond with. And she got gestures around the room to your party. Also that when you found your way into this Institute of Magical Learning, you begin to understand what you are capable of and how you would like to focus your aptitude. Magic is dangerous, as you have seen. And to a degree, I needed you to understand how dangerous it could be, so that you could know where the boundaries of your power are, and if you ever did need to cross that, you could do so knowingly. Unlike my sister, and she kind of like looks kind of sheepishly over her shoulder towards it, like, I believe in the value of learning by doing and on the streets, and not sticking your nose in a book, and never going outside. And then with that, she then looks towards the other group outside, who, Tali, you remember, according to the books, many of them have not left for 3
Tali's
or 6
just like, oh
months.
no, I didn't go outside and gone. Me either.
But as she says that, I was like, that's why I wanted you to come here. Then there's a as Madame Morgrave cuts across and goes, with that, and then there's the foolish notion that you believe small and mighty are the ones who can prevent Arkmedön.
Sorry. Who?
Arkmedön.
Yeah, I don't. Repeating the name doesn't.
I don't know what
that is.
I will let everyone hold a history check if they would like to for this one.
Please.
Do that guy, right?
Yeah. Arkmedön.
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 Not a good roll.
Well,
The history check, right?
Yes, please.
3.
3,
Oh.
good.
7.
So 12 from Chad, 7 from Brass. What did Christina get?
10.
10. Got on Pebble. Gonna bring it home.
15.
45.
15. Excellent. None of you have ever heard of this term before.
Oh, come on.
How do you spell it? Just for.
I'll put it in chat for us. I'll put it in chat.
For in chat, not in chat.
But yes, no. Even Pebble, with your 15, you have never heard of this phrase. Come on, if you would let me select it, please, that'd be excellent. Why is it not working? I'll put it in chat in a bit, because this is slowing me down. She looks over your blank faces as she mentions Arkmedön, like, there, I shouldn't have expected. It is a obscure reference. But as this is places of learning, let's study some history, shall we? And you watch as she kind of glides over to one of these bookcases and reaches up very high and pulls a book off a shelf. And she holds it like, would someone be so kind as to read something out loud to the class? There's kind of this kind of sardonic smile to her when she says that. Brask offer.
Oh no!
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't believe you can read, Master Brask.
Oh, read. Oh, yeah, okay.
She just turns her eyes to the like, any takers?
Pebble will do it.
So, she passes you a book, and she opens it to a page. You quickly see this is a book of like religious texts. This is the Abbey, the Abbey of Civility, and near the beginning, she opens to this page that's titled "The Canticle of Dusk and Dawn." And this is the point where I need to get the copy and paste working, because I'm going to send you something, Unai, which I would like you to read to the rest of the class, as they say.
I believe I'm imagining the book saying like whatever the title was, and then powered by Abbey Corp TM.
Sure, why not?
I feel like Tali is real ashamed Tali rolled so low on that, because I feel like she would definitely have heard this book.
Oopsies.
So yeah, if you can read that out loud, please, Unai.
One sec. I'm gonna close up myself because I'm vanity like that.
Yeah.
At the start, there was only nothing. Polsh have devoured all that came before. So Proctor created light and life. So Proctor created light, and life flourished. But Polsh was not content to obey. Her nightmares chased light from the sky, and in the darkness, Folsh feasted again. Thus began the cycle of mortal life. Okay.
Yes.
This I stutter. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's
well,
fine.
well, I don't. Sorry, I don't mean Tali doesn't mean to interrupt, but I don't. It's not quite right.
No, it is. It's almost right. This is. So I assume you're familiar. This is what the Abbey teaches small children when they ask how the world was created. It is almost accurate, save for a few propagandic tweaks on the Abbey's behalf. But again, mostly accurate. Pebble, as you got the book open, she then reaches down and puts down on top of that page an open scroll to another phrase. Like, now if you could now read out this one. This one, unlike the book, which is actually kind of almost like a printing press kind of thing, like, which is, this is a handwritten in a very sort of like
Beautiful.
very difficult handwriting to read, but you just about make out this text. So I'll just put another one in there. If you can read that out as well, please.
At the end will only be nothing. Polsh will have devoured it all. When 7 bells have rung, and Queen declares war, Death's herald returns. Then finally, nothing.
Now that one doesn't ring familiar to anyone.
That's a bit.
Apart from
Good
Tali,
vibes.
if you can roll me
Tali just
insight-
like go. Well, yeah, I'll roll the thing, but she's gonna go and like take the thing off of Pebble and be like, "What?"
Yeah, roll me an insight check, please.
This is what I should have saved my big roll for. Oh well.
Mhm.
12.
12. You have not heard this phrase before.
That's why she's gonna grab it.
Something about the cadence of this phrase sounds weirdly familiar to you.
I'm gonna read it again. Can I?
Just read it.
Yeah, I'll put my text into it, but I'll read it out loud.
Gonna like study it.
At the end, there will only be nothing. Fulsh will have devoured it all. When 7 bells have rung and Queen declares war, Death's herald returns. Then finally, nothing.
That's optimistic.
As you're studying this, Madame Morgrave continues like, interestingly how those are somewhat similar, isn't it? Described beginning of the world. And then she touches the scroll like, well, no, you got the scroll, but she just to it. And the described end of the last world.
But where is this? Where is this? What is this? What is this?
That is Arkmedön, the prophesized end of the world.
But who says who?
Well, you won't find it in any of the Abbey's teaching, for example. But if you search long enough in like dusty old libraries and archives, you will find it rear its ugly head. Our knowledge of this, however, comes from an old and powerful witch known as Liuba the Weird. Erifa speaks like, who also just happens to be our mother.
Ooh.
Indeed, she was a bizarre woman. She had the gift of foresight and the curse of experiencing time backwards. Erifa then goes, for us, the 14th day of feasts occurs before the 15th, but for her, the 15th would occur before the 14th. As such, knowledge of the future came easy to her, and she wrote down many prophecies, in a tome which she then locked away, only to be retrieved in a time when they would be needed most.
But who's the queen? But this can't be right. This doesn't make any sense.
No, well, it is the prophesized end of the world, end of the last world. The world ended before this one. But we have cause to believe that it will be the end of this world too. And things are in motion.
But it won't be, because, there's False and there's Intin, and they balance each other. The only way this can happen is if Intin went away for some reason. That's not going to happen. Why would that happen?
Why did it happen to the last world?
Charlie doesn't know.
And the world before that. And before that. There is a cycle to these things. A world ends and the new one rises. Orsh and Intin are indeed in a constant conflict, but it isn't an equal battle. This is not an unmoving object against an unstoppable force. This is a cycle. Orsh eventually destroys the world, and Intin creates a new one.
But why?
And Orsh destroys that, and Intin creates another.
Why would Intin let that happen? Why would Intin let that happen?
Intin has always tried to stop it. Never succeeds.
And what does this have to do with us specifically?
Charlie just daggers at Christina. Like, what do you mean?
Two things. The Genesis relics are powerful creations of Intin. They are instruments of Intin's power. They are how Intin can create a new world each time it fails. As Falsh's jaws close in around the world compacts and compresses until all 7 Genesis relics find themselves together. And when brought together, you can have one wish. And with that wish, Intin creates a new world. Was our mother's belief that if someone could gather those 7 relics before the world ended, it could break the cycle. And why it relates to you specifically is you have been chosen by the relic, Christina. It needs the relic to be awakened to do this. And the location of these relics, where they currently lie scattered across the continent, our mother wrote them down in this tome of hers. So we believe that it is now time to retrieve that tome. And that tome is locked away in this very manor. Christina, you have key retrieving it. Within this manor, I have built a gate to a realm that was created by our mother, known as the Labyrinth Librarium. A near-endless repository of collected knowledge, and deep within its halls is the tome in question. The entrance to this realm, however, requires two keys. 2 awakened Genesis relics. Christina, as that kind of word, so you feel this kind of like pulse of energy from your amulet, and then in the gardens behind you, you hear once again that lightning bolt as those training dummies are knocked down. You have one, Christina, and he has the other.
Don't tell me this is some Destiny rubbish.
Wait, why does Tali not have?
Maybe it is within fate that you will one day have one. They choose who they choose. And they've been scattered across the realm for their own protection. Now, I believe that this is beyond the scope of Small and Mighty to achieve. You are untrained, uncoordinated. What I want from you is simply for Christina to open that door down there. You and Hamish to do it together. We find the location, and then the adventuring squad I have been forming will go out and find the relics. Whereas I believe that Small and Mighty are exactly the right people for the job.
Oh.
Tali's like staring, grumpy stare. Tali is also like 6 foot. She's like just staring at Madame Morgrave.
Yeah. Who's still a foot taller than you.
It's fine.
Regardless, both need to be here. Well, both relics need to be present to enter the realm regardless, and the whole hoo-ha with the bracelet was because Aretha didn't want to proceed without all of Small and Mighty being present to give you a fair shot at it.
Well, there's no discussion. They're not handling. We're not going to open the door just for them to go and do this. This is not their business.
No, and trust me, I've had this argument for the last week with
They've
Aretha.
never even been outside.
That may be so, but they have trained each other for months now. We have a facility within the academy that creates environments for them to train within. They are well tested, far more coordinated than any of you. Aretha's like, don't be rude. They have life experience. They've been outside. They've been doing things. It'll trump them in the end. Your squad of misfits will lose to Small and Mighty.
I'm sorry. There's no. It sounds like it's a competition.
Sorry, Madame Morgrave. Her name is Yusra, which is why I keep saying Yusra accidentally. She hasn't introduced that yet. Madame Morgrave sighs like, no, I agree. This is not a competition. This is a matter of the fate of the world. And my sister keeps trying to turn it into one. Whether it is you or them, ultimately what I care about is that the deed is done. Together, you can open the doorway, you can both go in and try and retrieve the book. I'd rather combine efforts than be at each other's throats. It is a worthless exercise, and although, yes, I wanted to expedite the process by having Christina arrive a week or 2 ago, you are all here now, and we will take whatever arms and hands we can get to this stage.
Nan?
What was that?
Nan?
You say
She's
Nan?
going, Nan.
Yeah, and she's like,
Nan.
yes, dearie.
Mum and Dad miss me?
honestly don't know. I've been here the whole time. I left rightly after you did.
Does nobody else have any thoughts or feelings about this? They've just got...
Brask is just looking out the window at the Misfits training with a big slab of meat in his mouth. And he's like, I could take him.
We're not fighting them, Brask. That's not... But it's good to know. Thank you.
You can see Brass that they are starting to like wind down. You see they all come together and do like a group high five. And you see like, yes, squad, yes, ha ha. And then you can see that they then start to make their way off the training ground, following in the footsteps of Hamish Dawncaster.
Oh, the Knights of Ya. Pebble. Well, he would vocalize this. I joined Small and Mighty just to have a purpose in life, and I owe my purpose in life to Small and Mighty now, but this might be, too big a challenge, really. I mean...
What greater purpose is there?
Huh?
What greater purpose is there, Pebble, than saving the world, than helping Intin? Is the highest.
Yeah, but I only think myself like capable of, taking down a mafia, not deciding on the fate of the world by ancient magic.
Ollie? Ollie, can you talk to Intin?
Well, sort of. I pray to Intin sometimes. Replies in various ways, signs, pictures, usually a little cryptic, and it's not like I can't just, call them, but
I mean, I understand you can't just like have a casual chat.
I can.
Is there any way? This is all going way over my head personally.
Yeah, same.
I don't want to drag anyone else into such a gargantuan task of saving the world and going on a big grand quest. I don't know if Inting can send you a sort of sign to say whether this is right. I don't want to just take their word for it.
I can check, and I agree. I think, the Abbey has a particular story about the world, and this scroll from their mum is also another story. Like, it's not always true. So I agree. We don't know everything, and it could be need to find out more. But Tali is Intin is my deity. I'm not. I can't just leave this. Either way, regardless, Tali will be doing this.
Anything you can find, any sort of sign that might validate and explain this.
It will probably take it's not a quick thing, a couple of days, so I can't.
Entering communicates usually through dreams, so at the very least you need to sleep on it.
I was imagining suddenly a monolith of stone with the word "yes" engraved in it just smashes the other team. Just like, okay, fine, let's go.
Yeah, it's not a quick thing. Tali will have to pray and sleep.
Of course.
But so.
Oh, madam, you.
Please call me Yastra.
Any chance?
Go what?
Call you what?
Yastra.
Oh, Yastra.
Yes, bro. No.
I mean,
that's very close to Yisbra.
Yeah, like what's going on here?
I don't suppose you planned to stay the night, but I'm sure you have a couple of rooms for us. I think we need to sleep on this, because we're not just going to take your word for it.
Yeah, negotiate with a pillow.
I'm glad you agree. I was very much going to say you're more welcome to sleep overnight. We have the facilities for it. As I say, I'm not bothered if you don't want to try and save the world. I have a team perfectly suited for it.
You need me.
Open the door. Yes.
That's what I need to sleep on.
Fair enough. If you wish to stand in the way of us saving the world, then that's a different matter, but I'll let you sleep on it.
Show us the way then, thank you very much.
Stuart, could you have someone show them the way, please? You watch as coming through the door, almost like a little cat flap, you see is a hand, a severed hand with this kind of like silver hat on it, comes crawling out into the room for you,
Right.
and just sort of turns around like, you follow Crawler there, and he'll show you to the dormitories.
Do we? Is there? Do we have to? Oh, can we? You have a lot of books here. I was just wondering if we can.
Sure, yes. There's some little books here, and there's more in the library. She kind of points you
Wow.
down the hallway.
So this is not a library?
I have
No,
some
this is just this
specific
casual reading for the city.
I do have. Sally has specific things to look to try and.
Regardless of whether or not you wish to undertake this task to prevent Arkmedön or not, I will say that all of you are welcome to this facility, to this academy and its halls. You can learn a great many things here. I would be remiss if I let a group of wandering arcanists out my door without offering to help. I appreciate there is a level of distrust towards this fate of the world, and that's understandable. It is a great thing to comprehend, but I do sincerely mean it when I say you are welcome to spend time here, to study. Do talk to the other pupils of this academy. Gabrielius in particular is well studied in magic, and I think be a good study partner for any of you. And if you need anything in your time here, I will be in my office. It is just through the library. But
So
otherwise,
can I ask you later? We could go to dorms first, and I can.
yes, of course. It is quite late now. I'd recommend sleeping. Let's talk in the morning. Breakfast will be prepared, and we can take things from there. I am in no mind of forcing you to do anything you do not want.
Well, actually, so just the dormitories. What's the
Well, there are
layout?
two wings. Two wings. Each has 10 small dormitories each. When this facility was a sanatorium, and you see our voice kind of sinks a bit there. There was a boys' dormitory and a girls' dormitory, but we don't hold ourselves to that necessarily any longer. There are essentially 20 rooms across two wings. All of the squad of misfits take the east wing. If you prefer, you can obviously take the west. Or...
Yeah, we'll do that.
Very well.
About that wine.
The wine was delivered with the rest of the food.
Uh-oh.
Oh right, okay,
You
good.
would have
Got some
It's
more.
been there the whole
got some
time.
more wine.
I need to drink
The
of
wine
this
from
now.
bed, please.
A bit more of a nightcap would be great.
Yeah, I need to get drunk to process. Yeah.
Of course. Stuart, could you direct Chardonethius to the wine cellar so he can find a
You can
nightcap?
get drunk.
Wait, I was going to call a team meeting,
No.
but
I mean,
At the
until
cellar,
Chad's
there's-
we're
joined-
gonna...
You can kind of scatter to get things and then eventually come back together in the dormitories. So you take the west dormitories. You are led. It is quite interesting watching this severed hand crawl up a set of staircase, which is way slower than if any other person had shown you how to get there. But you do eventually follow it.
They could do like this.
Sure. As you're making your way up the staircase towards the dormitories, you do hear the voices of the squad of misfits kind of talking amongst themselves, and they seem to have scattered around the manor as well. But yeah, you make your way up to the dormitories. You
Are
find
they
these.
saying anything in particular?
One with perception check.
Okay. Oh, natural 20.
Wow.
Yeah.
Putting
Natural
6 altogether.
20.
Yeah. Gonna hear what all the
Um,
shit they're chatting about us.
There's a lot of sort of bravado about, oh yes, squad, good work. We got that perfectly down the line. I love the way you knocked him into place. And you hear like,
Another Chad.
you hear another voice like, oh, I'm glad you think we did a good job there. I wasn't quite sure about that temporal magic. And it's like, no, you did good, Gable. You did great. And you Raz, wonderful work. There's a lot of that going on for a bit, but you do catch the end of like, aha! And I hear that what's her name? Christina has arrived now, which means tomorrow or soon we'll be venturing into the library, the labyrinth librarium, and our destinies await us.
No,
Squad.
if I were to do
Will we? Will we now?
So yeah. But you make your way up to your dormitories, and the rooms themselves, it's a bit of a tight squeeze to kind of fit everyone into one, but there is kind of like between the dormitories and like a sitting space that you can kind of go into if you prefer. So, but yes, you find a place alone. It's just you guys. You wait until the hand crawls away out of the distance. The only thing about the space is you do see a bust of the steward is here. I don't know if you want to do anything about that.
Is it heavy?
I try and pick it up. It's you could lift it, but it is quite heavy, yes. But you can lift it.
Put it outside.
Okay, that's fine. I will go.
We'll bring
If
bring
you
it back.
just
We'll
please
put
put
you
me
back in a
back.
second.
That is most
We
appreciated.
we want to have a private discussion, so we.
No, I don't. I understand completely. Just
he's
say,
great.
please
I
put
love
me
him.
back at the end.
The
Madame does not like it when I go wandering.
Great.
No, it's fine. She's gonna like go out the door, but she's gonna like not just outside, but like a few steps away to like put him at the end of the sort of hall.
You put him down in the hallway. You see there is 2 statues of him now in the same room.
Just
like,
keep each other company, I guess.
this is weird. I have not seen my face in a long time.
Okay, well, this should keep you busy for a while.
I love this guy.
As the bust has an existential crisis. Anyway, so you go back to your this like kind of like dormitory kind of sitting space. Yeah, you are there.
I'm sorry I've dragged you all into this. Where is everyone's heads at? Go around the circle. For democracy.
Well, Charlie wants to do this. Intin is my deity. This is I serve them. This is sort of my responsibility. So, that's Charlie.
Cool.
I don't want us to like separate. I feel like I owe the team so much of what I am, and I'm overwhelmed. But I know that if we stick together, it's gonna be fine eventually, because we seem to have like a natural talent of being fine at the end. I'm just happy that my arm is back to normal, and Mother Morgrave, she seems like, she's surrounded herself with like powerful magic. Maybe there's like a chance, I don't know, that with the right amount of study and preparation, I don't know. Pebble is like all over the place. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know how to play him well.
What are you thinking?
Who? Me?
Chad.
Oh, Chad.
Yes.
Well, I've got. First off, great wine. It's
It's your family's wine, like.
Really nice, place. Got a couple of things. On one hand, as I believe potentially, maybe you, Tali, as well, but as an immortal being, I do stand a chance of, if we don't avert the end of the world, I probably will still be here.
We're gonna
for the.
So.
No, exactly. I would probably rather not, witness the end of the world firsthand. Depending on how far in advance we're talking there. I'm in. I just want to just draw attention to the fact that earlier, just to put things in perspective, earlier on today, I very reasonably suggested that we, go head to head with the messes, which does seem like a obviously very dangerous, possibly quite rash thing, and there was quite a bit of pushback to that. I'm all on board with saving the world. I just want to just shed a light on the fact that saving the world does seem a little bit more extreme potentially than my suggestion earlier. I'm all in. If we can also do my thing as we're going along, that would be great.
Mint.
I mean, it depends what the relics are, right? We're not saving the world doesn't mean necessarily starting a war with anybody. Just wars can be really
No. I just want to make sure that we're all, we're treating all of the the quests, equally. My thing did seem a little bit less extreme, and there was some pushback on there, but I'm totally fine with going along to this. Just wanted to
So you're fine?
Like, I mean, I have to agree with Chad in the gravity of each situation, but also, like, I don't have, like, any beef with, like, one thing is temporary, the other one is just, necessary. I don't know. I don't know how to put this together, but, yeah.
If anyone's going to do any of this stuff, then it probably should be us. I had to look at those chumps out in the courtyard doing they're nothing on us. Frankly,
this is not a competition, Chad.
I find it insulting that someone would think that that a different group of people is more capable than us.
Chad, we have to play to each other's
show them what for.
Chad, this is not a competition. We have to play with each other's strengths. We have to make friends with them. I'm sure
we don't have to make friends with them.
Oh, okay.
Necessarily.
Why not?
And we don't have to kill them either.
Learn. Good.
Yeah, we don't.
Please.
kill them.
He's learning,
Okay,
guys. He's
well-
learning.
But Brask, you haven't.
No, bruh.
Brask is sitting back in a chair, picking meat out of his teeth, using Dragon Fang. He's not really been paying attention.
Brask is gonna, refer to the peanut butter kid meme and go, if anyone gets the reference.
He's gonna be like, I could eat more. But I am full. And my belly has not been full several hours. The world ending seems bad. That's where we live.
Oh, is it now?
If we can stop that easy. Just punch it.
Without killing
Punch
anyone.
the world.
Well, maybe not punch the wall.
Punch the wall.
Not quite oil.
Metaphorically.
Then also off the back of what Chad was saying about the other guys, the other team, they seem easy.
What do you mean?
Very weak.
No,
Very weak.
this is not the point.
Did you see how his spear came back? That looks so stupid.
Okay, so
Pebble, go, sorry.
the consensus is we would all like to save the world.
Yeah.
So if I negotiated with Madame Morgrave, we both split up. Each team splits up and finds half the relics.
Well, hang
One
on.
team would look for 3, one team would look for 2. Then we
Hold
all
on.
bring them back to Madame Morgrave's. Seems like a compromise.
Well, sure, but we don't know. I don't think they're going to want to work with it. When we were walking here, I heard them. Tali heard them talking, and how they're excited for them to claim their destiny or whatever. They don't sound like they're gonna want to work with us, and frankly, I don't. We don't even, like you said, Christina. We don't even know if any of this end of the world stuff is even true, is even wholly accurate, and I just don't. I don't know if Tali wants them to all involved. Like it's just Am I just being mean?
Ask them.
I'm scared.
Will I get
too.
them?
Well, hold on.
I
We
can
probably
bring them.
don't want to. No, we wouldn't all fit in here. We could probably just talk to them at breakfast or something. It's
Yeah,
quite
it's
What?
fine.
And it's breakfast. Is that now?
No, it's in the
Tomorrow
morning.
morning.
Well, no matter what gets decided, you need me. At the end of the day, I have the last say for what
Yes.
happens next.
I mean, we don't. I don't know. I'll go with the team. You just have to provide the amulet, I suppose. Then the amulet opens the door, and then you can retrieve the amulet back instantly. Or is that too easy? I don't know. I don't know how
I'll
things
find
work.
out.
Okay, we'll stick with you. I want to stick with you.
Let's sleep on this.
Hmm.
Actually, meets this squad. Breakfast.
Ooh.
Okay, I'm saying right now, Tali doesn't trust them, but you're right. Let's meet them.
Oh, I don't either, Tali. That's why I'm trying to get my cards right.
Yeah.
It's the only magic police officer here.
Pebble doesn't express this.
I will keep them.
Well,
I will keep them in line if they break magic laws.
Okay,
Maybe
thank
not
you,
killing them. I don't know. Maybe
Don't
killing
kill
them.
them, bro.
No, please
Thank you,
don't.
Brass.
I don't want to work with them. It doesn't mean Tali doesn't want them to die. Just don't want them to be involved.
But if you can think of a third option, Brask will
Just
listen.
leave them alone.
Yes.
Cool.
All right, and with that, then do you all find your way to separate dormitories, or
Tali
you
is
can-
insisting on staying in the same room as Chad,
I figured,
as usual.
as usual.
As per.
Was that the last time we all had a sleep?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you haven't had to sleep for like 6 or 7 sessions,
But is it like a normal
which
time?
means it was probably like in real world terms, it's probably like March or something. You last had a long rest.
Oh wow.
That's wild. That's
Wow.
wild. Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, because the last... Yeah, because we woke up this morning in the forest.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh
Hey!
wow.
I say Tali will insist. She will awkwardly be like, but Chad, we, I'll sleep on the.
You're cutting out.
Oh no, I could she will just awkwardly explain. She should sleep in the same room.
But Pebble agrees because we all know what's going on. So
You all
it's,
know,
like,
Chad
fine.
did tell you
That's fine.
back in the forest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
But
fine.
You
just
can kind of understand why.
Yeah.
Chad's just gonna be like, yeah, okay, but neither of us are going to sleep on the floor, so I'm going to just get a bed from this dorm and put. Chad's gonna move a whole entire additional bed.
Make me an
Based on-
athletics check.
Very
Like
nice.
Athletics
guidance
check.
him.
This is why I'm doing this, because I want
No,
to
do
do
it
an
with
athletics
flair.
check.
Yeah.
Do it with flair. Do it with
Can I
acrobatics.
guidance?
You might not need to. Hang on. That's an unnatural 20.
Oh my god.
Yeah, absolutely. You would want just Chad
Just
just sort of
pick
like
the bed.
hoist the bed in the corner. It's not like you lift it
Just
up, but it's
go
kind of you just like effortlessly spin it and just push it like across this hallway into another room.
Yeah.
Very quickly you are able to set up it. These rooms are not built for double beds, by the way. So like the room is basically entirely bed now. There's like a small gap between them.
Top to tail, it's fine. Separate bed.
But the thing is, there's such a small gap between them. Like it's a case of if you were to roll in the middle, you would fall off. But if you put them together, then the same thing would happen on the sides. It's awkward for however you configure it. But yes, you have this set up now.
Chad is also gonna want to go and have a wash of some kind before going to bed because my god, he must be we all must all be absolutely filthy.
Yeah.
Yes. There is a washroom here as well. This is a well-kitted facility. So you go to have a washroom. It's not like a shower or anything, but it would be like wash basins and stuff like that. And at this time of night, unfortunately, cold unless you requested it heated up.
Chad can deal with cold. He's been conditioned.
That's fine.
I don't know Pebble's personal hygiene. I don't know if he's very aware
You're a
of that.
farm boy. It's probably a case of you just kind of roll the punches a little bit.
Yeah.
But cool. Do you all settle down to sleep?
Tali wants to pray before going to sleep.
Okay.
Brask is already on his back asleep.
Yeah, okay, so
Yeah.
you're just
In
like
front of
sleeping
the
in the hallway.
fireplace.
Yeah, you're sleeping in that sort of that hallway bit. That's fine. Tyler, what do you pray?
I mean, I hadn't quite prepared to do it.
Oh, we can- I'll tell you what.
Let's go.
Oh no, I'll tell you what. Let's start with that next session. I
Yeah.
will say as kind of the final thing, as you kind of get into sleep, Tali, and you are there literally figuring out how to contact Intin about this. You hear Chad in his sleep start to speak. this strange language.
But I want to cast tongues as soon as
Good. Yeah, you
as
do.
soon as
You
I start
cast
hearing.
tongues. In which case, Will, I've just sent a message into your private thing. Can you just read this out for me?
Oh, not you. I'm messing up with the code drops. Oh, there we go.
I'm reading this out as Chad, but
Make
but-
it sleepy sounding.
Sleepy Chad.
Yeah, sleepy Chad.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Fuck.
At the end will only be nothing.
Oh,
Folsh
no.
will have devoured it
Oh,
all.
no.
When the 7 bells have rung and Queen declares war, Death's herald returns. Then finally, nothing.
No. Tali's just having like a mini, like, doesn't want to wake Chad, but she's just like, what the fuck?
But is this the same
As
text?
for the
Alright.
second time today, Tali, you hear the prophesized end of the world, Arkmedön.
I knew it
That's
because I remember
Where
before,
we'll end today's
there was
session.
like, you hear him like talking something about bells maybe,
Yeah.
and then I was like,
That's what
okay,
Insight
yeah.
Check was for.
I knew it,
That's
knew
why I
it.
said the cadence
Sarah,
sounded
you had it,
familiar.
yeah.
So Chad has
Jingle
all
bells.
along been speaking the prophesized end of the world.
What does that mean? But why?
It's a good question. Maybe we'll find out next session. Maybe we won't.
Hey,
Who
very
knows?
good.
But well done, guys. You made it to
Oh.
Morgrave Manor.
Ooh,
Hey.
it's a nice
The
manor.
the call to arms has been laid, whether you accept it or reject it.
Mm.
You've encountered, not met them quite yet, but the squad of misfits. Had a lot of fun coming up with them.
Yep.
Looking forward to properly meeting them.
Sparrow
How-
Academy.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
What was this? I don't get the reference because I'm. Wait.
But yeah. Yes, I'm looking forward to Chad meeting Chad Renicius Day 13
God.
meeting Baron Hamish Dawncaster.
That is gonna be
Yeah, I'm
immaculate.
so excited. It's great. I like that there's one, I think, for everybody, because Tali's gonna have a little study partner. It's gonna be very cute. Chad's gonna have the other Chad. Brad's gonna have like a sparring partner. I haven't figured out the other quite.
Yeah, they are. They're not
It'd be like
so
I don't
specific.
know.
Chad is. I will admit, Chad is a carbon copy. Baron Hamish Dawncaster is a carbon copy of Chad. Everyone else is slightly more muddled. They are
fine.
similar to you guys, but there's not one to one.
I mean, if Christina's going to have to work with Hamish, he's going to have his work cut out for him.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, the way she treats Chad.
Another
Oh,
one.
it's
Oh no.
Like, and
Yeah.
Tali also is just gonna just play the Godling card. Doesn't show the respect he should.
Yep. Yeah, you get to say the same
This
thing
poor
happened
boy.
again.
Neat.
So yeah, well done, guys.
It's gonna be a bit like the bit in Shaun of the Dead where they walk past
Yes.
the other group who are
Yeah.
exactly like them.
I forgot about that scene.
Yes.
Yeah, that is more or less what I'm going for here. I just thought it'd be fun to throw you in a rival team who is basically you guys again.
But I don't think we should be. I think we should be friends.
I mean, you're absolutely welcome to be friends.
Yeah, friendship is good.
But cool, well done. Sarah, who would you like to give the inspiration token to?
I think it has to go to Verity for
Hey,
absolutely.
Joe.
Just
Lovely.
storming Morgrave Manor, taking
I'm
no
sorry,
shit.
Sarah, but Verity hardly did anything at all.
Sure.
I
Like
like that
the
you didn't.
whole
I like that you gave him such a hard time. It was good. Although it's like runner-up would be probably Braskin the Raven statue of just like I'm gonna just break it. It's gonna be good. That was
Yeah.
awesome.
Was your head?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Verity, have you seen Six of Spades' picture?
Is
No!
I'm gonna put
Oh
it.
my
Really
God.
nice. It's really
gonna-
good.
I'm gonna put it on stream. I'm gonna put it on stream. 'cause I
Yeah,
think
put it on
it's
screen, that'd be
nice.
amazing.
Let me see if
Amazing.
that
Thank you for
works.
doing that, Six of Spades. That is wonderful.
Such a good
Yeah.
picture.
Welcome to
It's
the.
dope.
I was just done in like
Hmm.
2 hours. It's so good.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, it's on the stream
I'll
now.
do something with it. Yes.
But for some reason, it's
Do
not
it.
Put it
cut.
on a
Stream.
wall.
So good. Yeah, it's on the stream now. It's amazing.
So cute, and the
So
background's
good.
so cute. Oh,
Yeah.
That's lovely.
Yeah.
That's so lovely.
It's fantastic.
Where was I? Yes, so you've gained the good position of Christina. Good idea. I think that's well deserved.
Thanks,
Um,
everyone.
Where are the rest of my outro notes? I've lost them. We can't finish, guys. I can't find my notes. We're here forever.
Uh-oh. Oh god,
Uh-oh.
we're gonna
Oh,
have
Adam,
to...
you got to tell us what you got to tell everyone what the
Yeah.
code was.
Oh right, yes, the code. So you were very close to it. It was open the Raven on the gate at the gate.
Ah, open the raven.
but then, but how was it? Like, how was the?
So if you
Okay.
quickly throw it back on screen, I will show you.
Because
how
I thought it was like a substitute cipher, but your 3 is the 6 is like the numbers match to the letters.
You are right. It's the 2 that threw you off. So the way it basically goes, if you look at Morgrave Manor, the whole word, take
Yeah.
all the spaces out and just treat it as a sequence of letters.
Uh-huh.
And then it just goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
Oh,
9.
it
So for
repeats.
example, it repeats. So for
Oh.
example, if you look at the word Raven, it is the 3rd letter in Morgrave, then the 6th, 7th, 8th letter in Morgrave, then the E becomes 9. No, sorry, the E is 8. Sorry, the M becomes 9, the A becomes 1, and the N becomes 2.
Ah, right. It wraps around.
Yeah, okay, I didn't
Oh,
There
know
we
that
go.
was yeah.
It just continues in that pattern of
That was
1 to
close.
9, 1 to 9, 1 to 9 throughout the whole thing.
Cute.
So,
Very
yes.
Interesting.
So, yes. But you
Amazing.
got the important part, which was Raven.
neat.
Yeah.
Open the Raven was
Raven.
really needed, and then Brash ran off and just did some nonsense.
Yes.
And it turned out the right thing. So,
So
Ah.
Raven.
Yes,
That
that's
is
so
so
Raven.
yes. So well done, guys. You got the important part,
Oh.
and you solved my tricky little puzzle. But cool. Yes, Verity, you have the inspiration over next time. Six of Spades, we saw that you followed us, so thank you very much.
Hey.
Amazing
Thank
to have you
you.
here.
Thank you.
And we will absolutely tweet out the thing on our Twitter as well, which is
Yes, of course.
great. To everyone else,
Yeah,
thank you for watching. I hope you had a great time this session, learning about some of the deeper plot going on in the background. If you did, you can catch us again here in 2 weeks' time, about the same time. If you follow us, you'll get a notification. You'll get a if you follow us and turn on notifications, you'll get a notification when we go live. If you want to rewatch our last session, that is now on our YouTube channel, and this session will be up there next weekend. And you can also find us on Twitter, where we'll tweet out things like amazing artwork that's made for us. This is the first, and what a wonderful thing that is. And that's it, everyone. So we've been Small and Mighty. Thank you so much for watching us, and we'll see you next time.
Bye. 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 Bye.